Chapter 179. Yi Tianzong had already noticed the Penglai sect when they set up the dragon-locking god-trapping formation. Still, he wanted to experience the power of the formation for himself, which was why he went with the flow and followed the Penglai sect's people into the formation's perimeter. Once Yi Tianzong entered the range of the dragon-locking god-trapping formation, he could clearly feel the powerful binding and sealing power around him. Not only was the space around him extremely solid and viscous due to the formation's influence, even the mana within his body was mostly sealed by the formation's power. Even with his abilities, he found it difficult to move within the formation, and could not even use a tenth of his power. Anyone else would never have been able to escape. While Yi Tianzong was trapped in the dragon-locking god-trapping formation, the Penglai sect's 8th and 7th heaven champions who had once stayed far away from the formation gathered once again outside the formation, glaring at Yi Tianzong, who was trapped by the formation with resentment and delight. The Penglai sect champions, who were certain that Yi Tianzong would not be able to escape and thought that victory was within their grasp, were promptly relieved of the tension in their hearts caused by Yi Tianzong's pursuit. Only those who had personally fought Yi Tianzong would know what kind of tension and despair it was to face Yi Tianzong. It was fortunate that they managed to trap him in the end. The Penglai sect's chieftain's father, who had survived multiple battles, the purple-robed supreme elder of Wu Xing's 9th heaven, glared at Yi Tianzong with cold hatred and asked coldly, "Who are you? What is your purpose in coming to the Penglai sect? Did you kill my son, Xianihai, the chieftain of the Penglai sect? Speak quickly. Otherwise, I'll definitely let you taste all kinds of punishment and make you beg for death." Yi Tianzong's face did not show the slightest hint of panic. Instead, a strange smile appeared on his purplish-blue demoniac face. He, you've been tricked. As long as we wipe out Wu Xing of the 8th and 9th heaven, the entire Penglai sect would eventually be reduced to ashes by the army of the demons. With that, Yi Tianzong mustered all his strength and threw out a jade bottle of soul annihilation powder. Then, as he unleashed his final attack, he vanished from the sight of the Penglai sect and entered the immortal mansion. Seeing that it was yet another jade bottle, the people of the Penglai sect thought that Yi Tianzong was using the same trick again by using something that could induce Yuan spirit illusions. However, they were not worried because they had a peak heavenly divine artifact, the Soulbuster clock. With that careless attitude, Yi Tianzong's attack shattered the sealed jade bottle of soul annihilation powder. Soul annihilation powder was actually a very powerful poison specifically used against the Yuan spirit of martial artists. It was colorless and odorless, and would rapidly evaporate once it was exposed to the air. It could spread over 100 miles in a very short time. Its effect was so overbearing that even third heaven myth elites might not be able to withstand it. None of the Wu Xing elites below the myth tier would be spared. Yi Tianzong had once used this thing to deal with the Blood God Palace in the Azura Mountains. This was the second time he had used it. It just so happened that most of the experts above the 7th heavenly layer of the martial saint realm of the Penglai divine sect had gathered around Yi Tianzong, because they thought that victory was in their hands when Yi Tianzong was trapped in the dragon-locking god-trapping formation. Therefore, after the jade bottle had exploded, the soul annihilation powder had rapidly spread to a radius of 100 miles. All the martial saints of the Penglai divine sect who had not left suddenly felt their vision darken. Then, as if they had fallen into an endless abyss, their primordial spirits had been annihilated without knowing anything. Even the Wu Xing elites who had set up the formation were not spared, and every Wu Xing elite within 100 miles died. It was only after half an hour in the outside world that Yi Tianzong reappeared between heaven and earth. His soul scanned the area within a radius of 10,000 li. Other than less than 500 experts of the 7th heaven's martial saint realm and above who were further away, the Penglai divine sect's over 10,000 experts of the 7th heaven's martial saint realm and above were all finished. The death of those 10,000 Wu Xing elites above the seventh heaven would be a blow and impact to the Penglai sect that would turn the world upside down. Without the deterrence and suppression of such a powerful force, the factions on the 10,000 islands around the Penglai sect would definitely not submit to the Penglai sect's rule. The hatred and resentment that had accumulated over countless years would definitely lead to a crusade against the Penglai sect in the future. After wiping out the high-level martial sage experts of the Penglai divine sect, Yi Tianzong did not stop. Instead, he followed the Penglai divine mountain for hundreds of miles in the form of a demon envoy. Then, he poured a huge amount of mana into the Penglai divine mountain and waved his demon saber, slashing out a dark saber light that was 20 miles long. With boundless power that seemed to be able to split the world, the dark saber light that reached the sky slashed at the damaged part of the Penglai divine mountain. After unleashing that dark blade light, Yi Tianzong did not stop. Instead, he slashed out 10 more dark blade lights of the same size, creating a bottomless crack as the boundless blade light struck the Penglai divine mountain. The Penglai divine mountain, which had already been ruined beyond recognition by the battle between tens of thousands of Wu Xing, was directly cut in half by Yi Tianzong's slash. The towering divine mountain was split in half. Suddenly, it was as if the sky was falling down. The upper half of the Penglai divine mountain, which was more than 70 miles high, carried an unparalleled weight and boundless power that could crush everything. It directly fell down from the lower half of the mountain, which was more than 200 miles high. It smashed open an incomparably huge pit, and then rolled down to the ground. When the mountain rolled down, a loud rumbling sound spread across tens of thousands of miles. At the same time, everyone on the lower half of the Penglai divine mountain stared blankly at the rolling mountain, as if they had lost their souls. Their eyes were empty as if they had lost their souls. With the Penglai divine mountain cut in half and most of the sect's leaders wiped out, the faith and perseverance of every member of the Penglai sect was violently destroyed by Yi Tianzong in no time at all, leaving them at a loss for what to do. After cutting off half of the Penglai divine mountain, Yi Tianzong really did not stop this time. He did not forget that the Penglai divine sect had a heavenly divine weapon and many myth-tier elites were waiting in the Grotto Heaven's secret realm. Yi Tianzong would not be able to stop them if the Penglai sect were to activate their heavenly divine weapon at all costs. Therefore, he simply said, "Wait for the arrival of my demon legion. Kek 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 kek." Then, he shot into the air, reaching the altitude of tens of thousands of miles, turning into a black flash and disappearing over the horizon. Yi Tianzong was flying at top speed at the altitude of tens of thousands of miles. Coupled with the profound meaning of space, he could cross tens of thousands of miles in every second, rapidly leaving the core area of the Penglai divine sect. Just over 10 seconds after Yi Tianzong left the Penglai divine mountain, a powerful presence that was not much weaker than Yi Tianzong's appeared in the heavily damaged Penglai divine sect's secret realm. After a furious roar, a middle-aged man in blue robes with a cold expression and a raging aura appeared, holding a palm-sized ancient bell in his hand as he gave chase in the direction where Yi Tianzong left. Even so, Yi Tianzong clearly knew that there could be trouble, which was why he kept flying at top speed at the altitude of tens of thousands of miles. It was clear that the powerful middle-aged man in blue robes who appeared later on in the Penglai divine sect could not keep up with Yi Tianzong in terms of speed. After giving chase for around an hour, he could not catch up, and finally returned to the Penglai divine sect, which was in shambles and had suffered heavy losses. However, Yi Tianzong was not concerned about how the Penglai divine sect, which had suffered heavy losses and lost a great deal of power, would deal with the coming crusade from the tens of thousands of islands around them. His objective in coming to the Penglai divine sect had been more than accomplished, and he had even gained a lot. Therefore, Yi Tianzong was in a good mood. After flying for tens of millions of li and leaving the Penglai divine island, Yi Tianzong directly entered the boundless immortal abode to recover his dermic powers that were almost depleted. At the same time, he also checked on his gains from the Penglai Divine Sect's treasure vault. 2 days had passed in the outside world, and Yi Tianzong had stayed in the immortal mansion for 8 days. In those 8 days, Yi Tianzong first recovered his mana. After recovering to his peak condition, Yi Tianzong checked on his gains delightedly. One could tell that the results were delightful just by looking at Yi Tianzong's spirited look. The 3 treasure vaults plundered from the Penglai Divine Sect had more than twice as many items as the entire Hao Ranjin Sect's treasure vault put together. There were all kinds of spiritual herbs, medicines, and exotic flowers and fruits that were hundreds, thousands, or even thousands of years old. There were even more than 1,000 rare treasures and treasures of heaven and earth that were over 10,000 years old. There were also more than a dozen spiritual herbs with heaven-defying effect. Some could improve comprehension, some could strengthen the level of the primordial spirit, some could make up for the congenital deficiencies of martial artists, and some could directly raise Wu Sheng's cultivation by 3 levels without any side effects. Yi Tianzong was very surprised, and all of them were carefully planted by Yi Tianzong in the herb garden of the immortal mansion. Apart from that, there were also all kinds of refining materials, especially the specialties of the endless seas. There were also innumerable weapons, armors, and so on. There was also the 10,000 Laws Pavilion that Yi Tianzong had emptied. There were all kinds of martial arts, secret techniques, and secret manuals that explained formations. There were all kinds of things, and some of them were very helpful and enlightening to Yi Tianzong. If the Hao Ranjin sect had more of these things, the foundation of the entire sect would be greatly improved. Yi Tianzong, who was a little excited, left the heaven's expanse immortal abode after changing into a stranger's face. He identified the direction and flew away from the Penglai Divine Island at a normal speed. Because he had changed his aura and appearance, Yi Tianzong was not nervous along the way, nor was he worried about being discovered by the people of the Penglai Divine Sect. Yi Tianzong flew all the way, landing on any island with martial artists to inquire if there was any news about the Penglai Divine Sect. It was clear that the Penglai Divine Sect had kept a tight lid on information, or it could be said that the low-level martial artists did not know. Either way, Yi Tianzong did not find any news about the Penglai Divine Sect's unrest. Even so, Yi Tianzong was not disappointed that there was no news, since it would be leaked sooner or later anyway. Moreover, the Penglai Divine Sect, which was severely lacking in high-end strength, would not have the courage or energy to go to the Central Plains to cause trouble for the Hao Ranjin sect. Just the matter of the endless seas alone was enough to keep them busy. Having nothing else to do, Yi Tianzong turned back to look in the direction of the Penglai Divine Island, before turning into a stream of light and flying towards the Central Plains. Chapter 180. In less than 2 days, Yi Tianzong finally flew from the boundless seas to the Central Plains, and then took the warp portal back to the Hao Ranjin sect. Yi Tianzong's safe return allowed Ling Xinyu, Yi Haoran, and the other family members, as well as the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjin sect, to let go of their worries and breathed a long sigh of relief. After Yi Tianzong rested for a day, Yi Haoran and the others asked Yi Tianzong about the process of his trip to the Penglai sect. Yi Tianzong was already prepared. He did not want to repeat the same thing to others. Therefore, when he began to sneak into the Penglai sect master's room, Yi Tianzong used the luster mirror to record everything that happened in the Penglai sect. The luster mirror, on the other hand, was a mystic item that Yi Tianzong crafted based on the function of a video camera when he was still on Earth in his first life. It had the ability to record and store things. In the profound spirit world, the auxiliary items used by martial artists were divided into mortal items, spiritual items, mystic items, and divine items. Among them, mortal items, spiritual items, and mystic items were divided into 4 levels: low, middle, high, and pinnacle. Under normal circumstances, mortal items were suitable for people below Wu Zongjing, spiritual items were suitable for people from Wu Zong to Wu Zun, mystic items were suitable for people of Wu Sheng's level, and divine items were suitable for people of myth tier and above. The luster mirror recorded all of Yi Tianzong's experiences in the Penglai sect. Except for some secret places that were deleted by Yi Tianzong, all of his other actions, including disguising himself as a demon envoy, stealing the treasury, and destroying the convention pavilion, were all recorded in the mirror. In the Haoran Hall, in front of his family and the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjin sect, Yi Tianzong took out the luster mirror and injected the mana in his body. After a burst of colorful brilliance, the luster mirror grew to a size of 3 feet and floated in the middle of the Haoran Hall. Then, it began to show all of Yi Tianzong's actions after infiltrating the Penglai sect. It played for a full 6 hours before the scene recorded by the luster mirror was completed. Everyone in the Haoran Hall knew the details of Yi Tianzong's trip. After regaining their senses, the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjin sect looked at Yi Tianzong with eyes full of admiration. Through what was recorded in the luster mirror, everyone in the Hao Ranjin sect knew how dangerous Yi Tianzong's trip to the Penglai sect was. When they saw more than 600 Wuxing Ninth Heaven elites of the Penglai sect besieging Yi Tianzong, everyone in the Haoran Hall was not only shocked by the strength of the Penglai sect, but also worried about Yi Tianzong. Let alone 600, even if there were 60 Wuxing Ninth Heaven elites, the Hao Ranjin sect might not be able to withstand it without Yi Tianzong, let alone 600 attacking Yi Tianzong alone. Everyone was overjoyed when they saw that Yi Tianzong had successfully escaped from danger and caused internal strife in the Penglai sect. Later, when they saw how Yi Tianzong, as a demon, robbed the Penglai sect's treasure vault, destroyed the 10,000 Laws Pavilion, wiped out most of the Wuxing Seventh Heaven elites of the Penglai sect, and finally cut down the Penglai Divine Mountain, everyone was only filled with admiration for Yi Tianzong. After everyone in the Haoran Hall was done watching, Yi Tianzong put away the luster mirror and said to Yi Haoran, "Father, the Penglai sect's high-end strength has been greatly reduced. They probably won't have the time and energy to trouble us in the next decade or so. Those factions in the boundless seas that have been oppressed by the Penglai sect for a long time would never let go of such a good opportunity. The Penglai sect will be very busy. It just so happens that we can improve our strength in peace. The 3 treasure vaults and all the secret manuals in the 10,000 Laws Pavilion that we have robbed from the Penglai sect are twice as many as all the treasures in the Hao Ranjin sect's treasure vault combined. There are also many good things that can help everyone here improve their cultivation without any side effect. Let's take advantage of today and put these things in the sect's treasure vault." Hearing Yi Tianzong's words, all the top brass of the Hao Ranjin sect, including Yi Haoran, looked at Yi Tianzong in disbelief. Yi Haoran looked at Yi Tianzong with some excitement and said, "Tianzong, is what you said true? You want to give the huge amount of resources and secret manuals that you have robbed from the Penglai sect to the sect?" The Penglai sect was the inheritance of the King of Gods. Since the mythological era, it had not experienced the calamity of the demon clan in the abyss. Instead, it had plundered countless resources and secret manuals from the Central Plains and the Boundless Sea. This huge amount of resources and secret manuals was more than twice the amount that the Hao Ranjin sect had accumulated. The Hao Ranjin sect's help would be immeasurable. Now that Yi Tianzong had given it to the sect so easily, the top brass of the Hao Ranjin sect were so excited that they did not know what to say. As the top brass of the Hao Ranjin sect, the people in Haoran's main hall knew how many resources there were in the 5 treasure vaults of the Hao Ranjin sect. It was an unimaginable amount of wealth. After all, with the teleportation formation and the supercomposite formation that could produce Vitality Dawn, True Energy Dawn, and Xianyuan Dawn, the Hao Ranjin sect's accumulation of wealth and speed would definitely surpass that of many Holy Lands. If this more than twice the amount of resources and the various secret manuals collected by the Penglai sect were added, then the foundation of the Hao Ranjin sect would catch up with the Lingyun Hall and the Kunlun sect. The only thing that they lacked was the top combat strength of Wuxing's 7-fold heaven and above. Yi Tianzong smiled faintly and said, "Although there are a lot of resources, there are very few that are useful to me. I'll just let the sect have it. However, I can't give it to you for free. After you've finished counting these resources and secret manuals, please exchange them for merit points." Yi Haoran smiled and said, "Haha, no problem. With these resources and secret manuals, the development of our Hao Ran Zhen sect will reach another level." At the same time, the top brass of the Hao Ran Zhen sect present did not have any objections. It was just merit points. The real resources and secret manuals were the most practical. Yi Tianzong's intention was no different from giving them away for free. There was almost nothing in the entire treasure vault of the Hao Ran Zhen sect that was useful to Yi Tianzong. No matter how many merit points Yi Tianzong had, they were almost useless to him. Then, Yi Tianzong, Yi Haoran, and the other top brass of the sect came to the little cave secret land that Yi Tianzong and the others had moved back from the Azura Mountains. After opening the little cave secret land that had been idle for a long time, Yi Tianzong and the people of the Hao Ran Zhen sect entered the secret land one after another. Perhaps because the little cave secret land was located on Tiangang Peak, it had received the favor and fortune of heaven and earth in the process of breaking the seal of heaven and earth many times. The space that was originally only about 10 miles in radius had now expanded to 30 miles in radius. The huge space could be used to store the countless resources that Yi Tianzong had snatched from the Penglai sect. Under everyone's expectant gaze, Yi Tianzong leaped into the air. Then, with a wave of his hand, countless colorful spiritual herbs, spiritual medicines, exotic flowers and fruits, rare treasures, various refining materials, finished weapons, armors, elixirs, and other resources fell into the secret land, forming a 3,000-foot wide torrent. Because Wu Xing had comprehended the mysteries of space, he could open up a small world in his body to store non-living things. Therefore, the people of the Hao Ran Zhen sect, including Yi Haoran, thought that the resources they had snatched from the Penglai sect were stored in the small world that Yi Tianzong had opened up. The 3,000-foot wide torrent lasted for more than half an hour before it stopped. At this time, in the entire 30-mile wide grotto secret land, countless resources were piled up in a layer that was almost 30 meters thick. At the sight of so many resources and treasures, the upper echelons of the Hao Ran Zhen sect were so happy that they almost fainted. After releasing his power, Yi Tianzong landed on the ground. Then, he instructed the 8 lords of the Hao Ran Zhen sect's Administration Hall, Merit Hall, Punishment Hall, 100 Herbs Hall, Array Tools Hall, Spiritual Plants Hall, Training Hall, and Examination Hall to each lead 3,000 people to identify and sort out the massive amount of resources. Then, he led the Scripture Hall Lord and the Elder Hall Lord, Yi Yuanshan, to the Scripture Hall of the sect and handed over all the secret manuals that he had snatched from the Penglai sect's 10,000 Laws Pavilion to them to sort them out. Chapter 181. I've caught a cold. I'm short of breath and my mind is a little muddled. I'm not in a good state. That's 2 chapters for today. By the way, please subscribe and bookmark me. After a trip to the Penglai sect, Yi Tianzong brought back a variety of cultivation resources and secret manuals, which increased the foundation of the Hao Ran Zhen sect by several times. In the following period of time, except for the routine dispatch of forces to the Demon Slayer Alliance to fight against the Abyss Demons, the entire Hao Ran Zhen sect quietly lay dormant and rapidly improved their strength. In order to fully utilize these huge resources to improve the strength of the Hao Ran Zhen sect, Yi Tianzong used what he had learned and a large number of rare materials and spiritual herbs on the Tiangang Peak to set up 5 formations to assist in cultivation: the Raging Fire Formation, the Xian Ice Formation, the Sumeru Formation, the Heart Refining Formation, and the Wanxiang Formation. The Raging Fire Formation and the Xian Ice Formation were filled with high-temperature flames and extremely cold mysterious ice respectively, which were used to assist the Hao Ran Zhen sect's disciples in refining their bodies. The Sumeru Formation was filled with countless layers of intertwined space, which was used to assist the experts of Wu Zun and Wu Xing to comprehend the profound meaning of space. The heart-refining formation was set up to enhance the state of mind and will of the Hao Ranjin sect's disciples. Everyone who entered the heart-refining formation would experience 2 reincarnations, 3 reincarnations, until they could persist for 10 reincarnations. The Wanxiang formation was set up to help the Hao Ranjin sect's disciples cultivate their martial skills and improve their combat strength. The Wanxiang formation was divided into 5 levels of difficulty. At the same time, Yi Tianzong roughly divided the combat strength of each realm of martial arts into 5 levels. They were Ordinary, Elite, Heaven's Pride, King, and Supreme. Every person who entered the Wanxiang formation would face an opponent of the same level as them. They would start from the normal level. Every time they passed a level of difficulty, they would be rewarded with heavenly materials and earthly treasures, divine weapons, or secret manuals. According to Yi Tianzong's classification, the normal difficulty was based on the combat power of the ordinary disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect. Most of the outstanding disciples on the Dragon Phoenix list were at the elite level. A small number of them were specially trained by Yi Tianzong. Those outstanding disciples with special constitutions were basically at the prodigy level. Ling Xinyue Yi Haoran and Yi Tianzong's family were all at the king level, while Yi Tianzong himself was at the supreme level. With the support of these 5 formations, the people of the righteous Orthodox sect, with the support of countless resources, not only did their strength soar rapidly, elite experts of various levels were emerging one after another, and even the number of heavens chosen had increased by leaps and bounds. The entire righteous Orthodox sect was developing rapidly. Even Yi Tianzong often stayed in the immortal mansion to comprehend and organize the various secret manuals, such as cultivation methods, martial arts, and secret techniques that he had snatched from the Penglai divine sect. He then extracted the essence of them and integrated them into his heaven's expanse mysterious scripture. At the same time, he continued to improve the Hao Ranjin sect's cultivation methods, Haoran's true heavenly spirit technique and Haoran's heavenly spirit technique. Moreover, Yi Tianzong also put the creation of cultivation methods that were suitable for the experts of the Hao Ranjin sect after they stepped into the myth realm on the agenda. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye 20 years had passed. In these 20 years, the strength of all the forces in the Central Plains, including the demon race, was constantly increasing. The battle between the demon-killing alliance and the demon race of the Abyss was still in a stalemate. Every year there would be a great battle. Both sides had victories and losses, and the casualties were equal. Overall, the demon race of the Abyss had more casualties. However, compared to the past, the demon race of the Abyss and the demon-killing alliance had much fewer casualties. The reason was that the demon race of the Abyss had also mastered the method of making the flaming bead. The demon race found the method of making the flaming beads in the secret manuals that they had seized from the super forces and holy lands that they had destroyed in the past. After the demon race used the flaming beads, they were no longer passively bombarded by the demon-killing alliance in the battle with the demon-killing alliance. The demon race of the Abyss was in a similar situation as the demon-killing alliance. The reason why the demon race of the Abyss had more casualties was that the people of the Hao Ranjin sect had limited use of the more powerful exploding flame bead. After 20 years of dormant development, the strength of the Hao Ranjin sect had increased a lot under the huge supply of resources and excellent auxiliary cultivation conditions. Yi Haoran, Su Mingyao Yi Haoyun, Zi Yunxian, Yi Yuanshan, Li Qingyao, Li Qingshi, and Ling Xinyue had all reached the 9th heaven of Wu Xing. Among them, Ling Xinyue had reached the peak of the 9th heaven of Wu Xing. Yi Haoran and the others had reached the late stage of the 9th heaven of Wu Xing. They were only one step away from the peak. They would break through in a few years. There were also 100 experts of the 8th heaven of Wu Xing and 1,000 experts of the 7th heaven of Wu Xing. They were much more powerful than the seventh heaven of Wu Xing 20 years ago, when there were less than 600 experts of the seventh heaven of Wu Xing. Most of these experts of the seventh and eighth heaven of Wu Xing were trained by Yi Tianzong. They were outstanding disciples who had cultivated special constitutions. These people had surpassed many experts of the Hao Ranjin sect and reached the seventh and eighth heaven of Wu Xing first. The number of experts of the Hao Ranjin sect below the seventh heaven of Wu Xing had increased to 100,000. This was mainly because the Hao Ranjin sect had attracted a lot of hatred from the demon race over the years. As a result, many experts of the Wu Xing of the Hao Ranjin sect had died. No one could do anything about the deaths of the experts of the demon race. Yi Tianzong would not interfere in this kind of thing. On the other hand, the survivors of the Wu Xing were those with better luck and strength. These people were the mainstays of the Hao Ranjin sect. Although the number of Wu Xing was not comparable to that of the Penglai sect, which had never suffered a calamity, it was definitely similar to that of the Lingyun Hall and the Kunlun sect. On the other hand, the number of experts below the level of Wu Xing, such as Wu Zun and Wu Qing, had doubled even though many had ascended and many had died. Over the past 20 years, the master of the Lingyun Hall, the master of the Kunlun sect, as well as the holy lords of the 10 sacred grounds, such as Taixien and Piao Luyun, had gradually learned about Yi Tianzong's visit to the Penglai sect. The upper echelons of the Hao Ranjin sect also felt that there was no need to hide the matter since they were on the same side. Therefore, they showed the photostone that recorded Yi Tianzong's actions in the Penglai sect to the master of the Lingyun Hall, the master of the Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lords. Of course, the specifics of the content were reduced, such as robbing the Penglai sect's treasure vault and the 10,000 Laws Pavilion. At the same time, the master of the Lingyun Hall, the master of the Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lords were instructed not to spread the word. After seeing what was recorded in the photostone, the master of the Lingyun Hall, the master of the Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lords were left in awe and shock. They did not expect that the Penglai sect, which was at its peak and insufferably powerful, would be beaten so badly by Yi Tianzong that it was unbearable to look at. Most of their high-end combat forces were wiped out, and even their base camp, the Penglai Divine Mountain, was cut down by Yi Tianzong. What left them even more refreshed was that Yi Tianzong had disguised himself as a demon envoy of the abyssal demon race. That was why the Penglai sect had suffered such heavy casualties, and it was also a form of revenge for them. It was also fortunate that Yi Tianzong had disguised himself as a demon envoy, or the Penglai sect would have long gone to the Hao Ranjin sect to fight for their lives after all these years. After learning of Yi Tianzong's devastating blow to the Penglai sect, the master of the Lingyun Hall, the master of the Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lords became interested in the photostone in their possession. After Yi Tianzong had taught the photostone to the people of the Hall of Treasures, the people of the Hall of Treasures created it. The photostone could store a total of 1 year's worth of information and could be stored for 10 years. After it was introduced, it was very popular among Haoran's disciples. After the master of the Lingyun Hall and the others learned about it, they paid a certain price to the Hao Ranjin sect to purchase the manufacturing method of the photostone. Chapter 182. In the past 20 years, 2 more Heavenly Legends competitions had been held in the Central Plains. However, in these 2 competitions, the disciples of Hao Ranjin sect had become more and more powerful. In the most recent Heavenly Legends competition, the 1,000 disciples sent out by Hao Ranjin sect had all made it into the top 2,000. In the top 100 of the competition, the Hao Ranjin sect occupied 45 places, the top 10 places occupied 6 places, and the top 3 places were taken. For Hao Ranjin sect, this was a very good result. However, for the other forces of the human clan and the demon clan in the Central Plains, this result was a nightmare. In the entire Central Plains, There were about 1,200 forces from the human clan and the demon clan participating in the Heavenly Legends competition. With so many super forces and holy lands participating, the Hao Ran Zhen sect occupied half of the top 2,000 places in the competition. This was only after Hao Ran Zhen sect had sent out 1,000 disciples to participate in the competition. This was completely unacceptable to them. The Hao Ran Zhen sect must have cheated. If they were so awesome, how could they survive? Only the forces of the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands, who were on the same side as the Hao Ran Zhen sect, knew the reason why the disciples of the Hao Ran Zhen sect were becoming more and more powerful. It was because of the Raging Fire Formation, the Xian Ice Formation, the Refining Heart Formation, and the Wanxiang Formation set up by Yi Tianzong. In particular, the Wanxiang Formation was used to test the level of combat power. The outstanding disciples of the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands all went in to test it out. The result was a big blow. The most outstanding disciples of the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands could only last less than 15 minutes in the Heavenly Legends level difficulty before they were beaten out. However, they had all seen with their own eyes that batch after batch of disciples from the righteous sect had persevered longer than them in the heaven's chosen level of difficulty of the 1,000 elephant array. There were even dozens of people who had broken through the heaven's chosen level and touched the king level of difficulty. This caused the few outstanding disciples of Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands, who had always been high and mighty within their own forces, to suffer a considerable blow. For a long time, they had heard about how powerful the disciples of Haoran Orthodox sect were. However, as the most outstanding disciples of Haoran Orthodox sect, they had always maintained a skeptical attitude. Most of them were unconvinced. In the end, after coming to Hao Ran Zhen sect, they realized that there was always someone better than them out there. These outstanding disciples were not the only ones who suffered a blow. The Hall Master of Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect leader, the 10 Great Holy Lords, and the higher-ups of these forces were also greatly affected. They finally understood the gap between their own disciples and the disciples of the Hao Ran Zhen sect. In the Hao Ran Zhen sect's Wanxiang Formation, there were 5 levels: Ordinary, Elite, Heavenly Legends, King, and Supreme. Half of their own elite disciples could not pass the ordinary level difficulty. The ordinary level difficulty was the average level of the ordinary level disciples of the Hao Ran Zhen sect. Half of their own elite disciples could not pass the ordinary level difficulty. Elite disciples? They could not even beat the ordinary level disciples. This simply made these big shots flustered and embarrassed. They were too embarrassed to look at the higher-ups of the Hao Ran Zhen sect. This was simply a slap in the face. However, after the embarrassment, they were even more shocked and envious of the disciples of the Hao Ran Zhen sect. They were in charge of a large force. None of them were idiot. They all knew that it was not that their own disciples were too weak, but that the disciples of the Hao Ran Zhen sect were too powerful. The ordinary level disciples were equivalent to their own elite disciples. In the long run, the gap between the two sides would only widen, and it would be difficult to catch up. In order to increase the strength of the Hao Ran Zhen sect quickly, Yi Tianzong spent a lot of precious materials and energy to set up 5 formations. Only those who had reached Wu Zun's level and above knew about the Sumer formation. It was also hidden from the public. The higher-ups of the Hao Ran Zhen sect had also issued a gag order. Therefore, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands only knew about the Blazing Fire Formation, the Xian Ice Formation, the Refining Heart Formation, and the Wanxiang Formation. After knowing the functions of these 4 formations, the Lingyun Hall Master, the Kunlun Sect Master, and the 10 Great Holy Lands naturally could not resist this temptation. However, this method of increasing the strength of the sect quickly, without any side effects, was naturally very important to the Hao Ran Zhen sect. The Lingyun Hall Master, the Kunlun Sect Master, and the 10 Great Holy Lands were actually not sure whether the Hao Ranjun sect would agree to their request. In any case, if it were them, they would not agree to it. However, they had underestimated the breadth of mind and boldness of Yi Tianzong and the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjun sect. The strength of the Haoran disciples increased rapidly, and they became more and more dazzling in the Tianjiao competition. The higher-ups of the Hao Ranjun sect had long been mentally prepared. They knew that their allies, the Lingyun Hall and the Kunlun sect, would definitely come to inquire about it. Similarly, the 10 Great Holy Lands, who were on the same side, would also inquire about it. These 4 formations were set up for all the disciples of the Hao Ranjun sect, so it was impossible to hide it. In response to the inquiries of the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands, the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjun sect readily answered without hiding anything. Over the years, in the battle against the Devil Clan, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, the 10 Great Holy Lands, and the Hao Ranjun sect had helped each other, and their relationship was quite good. Especially when the Hao Ranjun sect was attacked by the Devil Clan, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands had also readily sent their forces to help. Therefore, Yi Haoran and the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjun sect wanted to maintain their relationship and maintain this state of mutual help. They also wanted to increase the strength of their camp. After a detailed discussion, the Hao Ranjun sect, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands finally reached an agreement. The Hao Ranjun sect, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands would jointly build a large city called Hidden Dragon City. This city would only allow the people of the 13 forces to come and go, and it would be jointly controlled by them. In the center of this city, the various forces sent out Wu Xing experts to open up 4 space secret realms with a radius of 100 miles. In these 4 realms, Yi Tianzong would set up the Raging Fire Formation, the Xian Ice Formation, the Refining Heart Formation, and the Wanxiang Formation, respectively, with materials provided by the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands. The Refining Heart Formation and the Wanxiang Formation required the most core materials, the illusory chalcedony and the Wanxiang Immortal Gold, which were required to set up the Refining Heart Formation and the Wanxiang Formation. Only Yi Tianzong had them, and they were also used as materials provided by the Hao Ranjun sect. Each of these 4 space secret realms that were set up with formations required the secret keys of the 13 forces to open them. Similarly, the energy to maintain the operation of the 4 formations was also provided by the 13 forces. Each formation could accommodate a maximum of 1,000 people at a time for cultivation and assessment at the same time. According to the energy consumed each time the 4 formations were used, the Hao Ranjun sect, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands decided to imitate the merit points model of the Hao Ranjun sect and developed a system that used the 4 formations. After the establishment of Hidden Dragon City, the disciples of the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands were greatly trained and improved. They were even more outstanding than before. It was believed that in the next Tianjiao City competition, they would definitely surprise all the forces in the Central Plains. The battle with the Devil Clan was still going on for a long time, and it would continue in the future. As long as the existence suppressed in the depths of the world did not escape, the Devil Clan of the Abyss would never disappear. Time passed day by day. The strength of the Hao Ranjun sect, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands was rapidly increasing. The number of outstanding disciples was endless. It could be foreseen that in the future there would definitely be many high-end combat forces. 3 years passed in a hurry. On this day, people from the Zhou dynasty came and broke the peace of the Hao Ranjun sect. Ever since the Hao Ranjun sect and the Lingyun Hall set aside the Zhou dynasty and formed the demon-killing alliance with the Kunlun sect and the 10 Great Holy Lands, the Zhou dynasty almost had no contact with the Hao Ranjun sect. Although the overall strength and foundation of the Zhou dynasty were stronger than many of the Holy Lands, because of the fundamental conflict of ideas, the Zhou dynasty was excluded by the forces of the sects in the demon-killing alliance. They did not obtain the position of decision-making elder, and only occupied the position of seven-star elder. Chapter 183. With the recovery of the world, the strength of the Zhou dynasty was constantly increasing. However, compared to the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun School, and the 10 Great Holy Lands, their strength was increasing at a much slower rate. Therefore, they had been left behind. Moreover, the performance of the Zhou dynasty in the Tianjiao competition had also shown a weak state. In the end, it was because those young talents with outstanding martial arts aptitude were not very willing to join the Zhou dynasty, which had many rules and restrictions. Anyone who practiced martial arts wanted to obtain great power, and thus obtain freedom and control their own destiny. However, once they joined the Zhou dynasty, not only would they be restricted in all aspects, but they would also have to be loyal to the influential class of the Zhou dynasty. They would become someone's hired thug or lackey. Naturally, they would be inferior to the martial artists of other sections. In contrast, joining a sect did not have as many restrictions as joining the Zhou dynasty. Although they still had to be loyal to the sect, they had a lot more freedom. Therefore, unless they had no other choice, no martial artist with outstanding talent would be willing to join the Zhou dynasty. The people from the Zhou dynasty this time were the current Zhou dynasty's Grand Preceptor, the Crown Prince, and the others. There was also an unfamiliar acquaintance, which was the former Princess Lianyue of the Zhou dynasty. This was the first time that the people of the Zhou dynasty had taken the initiative to visit the Hao Ranjin sect in the more than 200 years since the establishment of the demon-killing alliance. After these people arrived at the Hao Ranjin sect, their attitude was more humble and respectful, and they restrained their usual arrogant and bossy habits. After all, the Hao Ranjin sect was now at the peak of its power. Not only was it powerful, but it also had the #1 invincible master in the Central Plains, Yi Tianzong. Furthermore, it had formed a camp with Lingyun Hall, Kunlun School, and the 10 Great Holy Lands. Its right to speak and strength in the demon-killing alliance far exceeded that of the Zhou dynasty. On the other hand, the Zhou dynasty was already in a very awkward situation, not to mention that they were here to ask for help. They were already being ostracized by all the other sects and forces and were in a bad situation. If they caused trouble in the Hao Ranjin sect, their future would be even more difficult. Yi Haoren, Yi Haoyun, and the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjin sect had basically guessed the purpose of the Zhou dynasty's visit this time. Through Tiangang Tower, an intelligence agency that had spread all over the Central Plains, the Hao Ranjin sect had a relatively good understanding of the situation within the Zhou dynasty. They knew that the situation within the Zhou dynasty was very tense and was about to split. The reason for such a situation was the secret instigation of the super forces and the Holy Lands. Of course, the contribution couldn't be ignored. Ever since the world had recovered, those hidden super forces and Holy Lands had emerged one after another. Naturally, they found the Zhou dynasty to be an eyesore. In addition, the various family forces and interest groups within the Zhou dynasty were complicated, and they fought openly and covertly. Therefore, those super forces and Holy Lands secretly contacted those families and interest groups and subdued them, constantly nibbling away at the power and interests of the great Zhou dynasty's royal family. Until now, within the Zhou dynasty, the royal family and the various super forces and Holy Lands supported the families and interest groups had reached a state of mutual hostility. The Zhou dynasty existed in name only. The real territory controlled by the royal family was less than 1/10 of the entire territory. The families and interest groups, supported by the super forces and Holy Lands, had already surrounded the royal family of the great Zhou dynasty. Their purpose was as clear as day. Whether it was those families, interest groups, or the super forces and holy lands behind them, it was impossible for them to let the royal family of the Great Zhou dynasty go. If there were no accidents, the destruction of the royal family of the Great Zhou dynasty was inevitable. As the target, the royal family of the Great Zhou dynasty naturally understood their situation very well. Of course, the royal family of the Great Zhou dynasty was unwilling to be mercilessly destroyed by the various super forces. They were also looking for a way to continue their survival, but after much thought, they could only seek the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect. The hostility and exclusion of the Zhou dynasty had always existed. Regardless of whether the Zhou dynasty continued to exist or not, the royal family of the Great Zhou dynasty was destined to be a thorn in the side of the various super forces and family forces. Moreover, in the mythological era, the antiquity era, and the modern era, there were too many super forces that had a grudge against the Zhou dynasty. Seeking the protection of the super forces and holy lands was unrealistic. They did not have the strength and deterrence to do so. After much thought, they could only rely on the Hao Ranjin sect, which was at its peak. This time, the team that the Zhou dynasty dispatched to the Hao Ranjin sect had experienced heavy encirclement and slaughter. They had lost 60% of their strength before reaching the Hao Ranjin sect. Inside a luxurious manor in Haoran City, the Zhou dynasty's Grand Preceptor and Crown Prince were currently discussing with Princess Lianyue how to obtain the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect. The Grand Preceptor and Crown Prince looked at the peerlessly beautiful Princess Lianyue in awe. The Grand Preceptor said respectfully, "Your Highness, how should we discuss this trip with the Hao Ranjin sect and seek the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect? Does your Highness have any instructions?" At this moment, Princess Lianyue, who was sitting in the room, had undergone a huge transformation compared to several hundred years ago. If Yi Tianzong were here, he would see that although Princess Lianyue was covered in a thin layer of ever-changing light, he didn't need to look to know that hidden behind the light was a peerless beauty. She was cold and lofty, making others feel incomparable awe and amazement. Not only that, but Princess Lianyue's cultivation had reached the peak of Wu Xing's 9th heavenly layer, the same as Yi Tianzong. She was only one step away from breaking through to the myth realm. On the way to the Hao Ranjin sect, when they were ambushed by the various super forces, Princess Lianyue displayed an unimaginable strength. She killed many of Wu Xing's 9th heavenly layer experts and easily led the Zhou dynasty's team away. It was no wonder that Great Zhou's Grand Preceptor and Crown Prince were in awe of her. After hearing the Grand Preceptor's words, Princess Lianyue's indifferent and distant voice sounded, "This noble one has her own ways to deal with the Hao Ranjin sect. Once this noble one achieves her goal, the karma between this noble one and the imperial family will be erased. When the time comes, you can return by yourselves. There is no need to ask anything else. Everything will be settled in 3 days." Princess Lianyue then left the room, leaving behind the Grand Preceptor and Crown Prince looking at each other in dismay. They didn't know whether they should believe Princess Lianyue's words or not. After returning to her room, Princess Lianyue looked in the direction of Astral Peak. Her eyes revealed a conflicted expression as she muttered to herself, "Yi Tianzong, this noble one wants to see if you are worthy of this noble one's devotion." Soon, night arrived. Princess Lianyue opened her eyes. Her eyes, as clear as water, seemed to reflect the boundless divine moon. She turned into a ray of divine light and disappeared from the room. Princess Lianyue flew at an extremely high speed in the sky. In just a moment, she arrived above Astral Peak. Looking down at Astral Peak, Princess Lianyue was like a cold and sacred goddess. Her eyes reflected the incomparably vast divine moon. After searching for a while, she finally found Yi Tianzong's figure. Just as Princess Lianyue found Tianzong, Yi Tianzong, who was with Ling Xinyue, suddenly trembled. He felt someone spying on him from above. His expression became gloomy. This person was truly audacious. They actually dared to spy on the Hao Ranjin sect. Yi Tianzong raised his head and looked up. He could feel the spying gaze fixed on him without moving. It seemed that the target was him. While his face was gloomy, Yi Tianzong was also a little surprised and doubtful. The person who was spying on him should have known that he had found him, but he was still watching him. It was obvious that he was leading him there. Who on earth was this person? Yi Tianzong didn't delay. He said to Ling Xinyue, who had already discovered that something was wrong, "Someone is spying on me from above. I want to go and see who is trying to lure me over. You can come with me." After Ling Xinyue nodded, Yi Tianzong and Ling Xinyue followed the direction of the spying gaze and flew tens of thousands of miles up in the sky. After flying tens of thousands of miles, Yi Tianzong and Ling Xinyue finally saw the owner of the gaze. The moment he saw Princess Lianyue, even with Yi Tianzong's mental state, he couldn't help but tremble. For a moment, he was entranced. Compared to during the day, the current Princess Lianyue under the moonlight was peerless. She was flawless, cold, lofty, and unapproachable. After regaining his senses, Yi Tianzong carefully sized up the nearby Princess Lianyue. At this moment, the halo covering her face had already been removed, revealing her entire face to Yi Tianzong. Yi Tianzong felt an extreme threat from Princess Lianyue's body. It was a feeling that not even the demon envoys could give him. He looked at Princess Lianyue with vigilance and shielded Ling Xinyue, who had just regained her senses, behind him. As Yi Tianzong looked at her, he felt that she was somewhat familiar. He frowned and carefully tried to recall. In the end, Yi Tianzong said with some uncertainty, "Your Excellency is Princess Lianyue of the Zhou dynasty?" After hearing Yi Tianzong's words, Princess Lianyue's eyes flashed with a bright light. Then, she coldly said, "I didn't expect that after several hundred years, you would still remember this princess. However, Princess Lianyue is already a thing of the past. In the future, you will have to call this sovereign Xinyu." Hearing Princess Lianyue call herself Xinyu, Yi Tianzong was somewhat puzzled. In his mind, this Princess Lianyue definitely couldn't have reached her current level. The reason he remembered her was because when he saw her several hundred years ago, he felt that she was somewhat special. However, he couldn't pinpoint what was special about her, so he didn't think too much about it. However, based on what he saw at that time, it was impossible for Princess Lianyue to cultivate to Wu Sheng's level with her talent. In addition, unless there was a special title, the title, this sovereign, could not be used carelessly. Let's call her Xinyu for the time being. The Xinyu across from him had already reached the peak of Wu Sheng's 9th heavenly layer, the same as him. Normally, a female cultivator would call herself this lord or this sage. A female cultivator like Xinyu could also call herself this princess, but calling herself this sovereign was absolutely abnormal. Wu Zun realm cultivators would call themselves this sovereign, but who would call themselves this sovereign after becoming Wu Sheng? No one. This sovereign, who are you? Why do you call yourself this sovereign? We cultivators don't carelessly use our titles. Princess Lianyue is already a thing of the past, so it's not possible for her to possess you. Do you mean to say that you have awakened? Yi Tianzong asked Xinyu with a serious expression. Xinyu looked at Yi Tianzong with a bit of surprise. Her eyes flashed with praise as she said, "You're very good. I didn't think that you would be able to guess to this degree just from this sovereign's title. It seems you know quite a bit. Then what about you? Where did you come from? To be able to realize that there is a problem with this sovereign's title, you definitely aren't a native of this world, right?" Hearing Xinyu's words again, Yi Tianzong's eyebrows furrowed even tighter. He stared at Xinyu and said in a low voice, "How interesting. It seems my guess was right. I didn't think your background would be so great. Forgive me for my lack of respect. I just don't know if you are this sovereign or a avatar soul. Am I right, Empyrean Xinyu?" Chapter 184. When Xinyu heard Yi Tianzong's words, there was no change in her expression. She said indifferently, "It seems that you are indeed not from this world. You should also be from a great thousand world. Otherwise, you would not know about the Empyrean realm. Speaking of which, this sovereign was able to awaken thanks to you constantly breaking the seals of heaven and earth and raising the upper limit of heaven and earth. After this sovereign's cultivation increased, this sovereign gradually awakened." Yi Tianzong looked at Xin Yu and said without any change in his tone, "There's no need to talk nonsense. Why did you bring me here? It can't be just to thank me, right?" Xin Yu replied in the same tone, "Before this sovereign awakened, although I only met you twice, Lian Yue fell in love with you. In order to catch up to you, she suffered from qi deviation and died. At the moment of life and death, this sovereign awakened and merged with Lian Yue's consciousness. This sovereign is here to settle things with you. If you lose this battle, you have to promise this sovereign to protect the great Zhou imperial family for 100 years and help this sovereign resolve this karma. If you win, this sovereign will follow Lian Yue's consciousness and submit to you for 100 years. You also have to promise this sovereign to protect the great Zhou imperial family for 100 years. Hearing Xin Yu's arrogant and commanding tone, Yi Tianzong immediately felt annoyed. He said in an unfriendly tone, "If you want to fight, this sovereign will accompany you to the end. You want to order this sovereign to agree to your conditions? Dream on." After saying that, Yi Tianzong said softly to Ling Xinyue, "This person is a strong enemy. Stay away." After Ling Xinyue nodded and left, Yi Tianzong directly took out the boundless divine sword and stared at Xin Yu, his aura rising. Xin Yu was not an ordinary demon envoy. She was a reincarnated Empyrean. It was unknown whether she was her true body or part soul. In the past, she was a super big shot who stood at the peak of Myth City. At his peak, he was only at the 6th heavenly layer of Myth City, the peak of the heavenly god realm. There was still the gap between him and a 9th heavenly layer Empyrean. The gap was simply unimaginable. Xin Yu's strength definitely surpassed any enemy of the same level that Yi Tianzong had faced before. He could not let his guard down, so Yi Tianzong planned to go all out from the start. Seeing that Yi Tianzong was about to start a fight without saying anything, it was obvious that he was going to go all out. Xin Yu frowned slightly on her peerless face. She also realized that there was something wrong with her attitude, but it was absolutely impossible for her to lower her posture and apologize. Moreover, this time she was going to fight with Yi Tianzong. She wanted to gauge his depth, so this was exactly what she wanted. Therefore, after Yi Tianzong assumed a fighting posture, Xin Yu also prepared for battle. Her body erupted with an aura that was not any weaker than Yi Tianzong's aura. In fact, it was even stronger. It collided with Yi Tianzong's aura. Thousands of miles high in the sky, Yi Tianzong and Xin Yu's aura collided. It filled the vast space of thousands of miles. Ling Xinyue was forced back 5,000 miles by the two's auras. The clouds within thousands of miles were all shattered into nothingness by the collision of their auras. In the clash of auras, Yi Tianzong did not gain any advantage. Instead, he was at the vanguard. However, Yi Tianzong did not take this to heart. Instead, he wielded the boundless godly sword and used the boundless sword technique to battle with Xin Yu, who was waiting with rapt attention. The battle between the two could be said to be the most intense battle since the recovery of the world. Regardless of whether it was Yi Tianzong, who had obtained an unparalleled opportunity and traversed through the heavens, or Xin Yu, who had once suppressed the endless heavens and earth, they both represented the peak of the world's cultivation and battle power. Looking from afar, the battle between Yi Tianzong and Xin Yu was like an intense battle between the invincible heaven-fighting sword god and the supreme goddess. The divine sword could cut through the heavens, and the waning moon could suppress the heavens and earth. The two of them wantonly moved about in the vast and endless sky. They fought in the space of millions of miles. In the center of the battle, the extreme power of the battle tore apart the space of the profound spirit world, forming numerous spatial cracks. Then, they were repaired by the power of the world itself. Yi Tianzong's battle power had already been raised to the limit. The boundless divine sword was combined with the boundless sword technique. Every time he waved it, an unstoppable sword light that was hundreds of feet long collided fiercely with the divine moon's divine light that suppressed the world and froze everything. Wherever the two of them passed by, the heaven and earth yuan qi within a radius of thousands of miles would go berserk, resulting in an energy storm that shattered all the surrounding clouds. Even Ling Xinyue could only watch the battle from thousands of miles away. She could not get too close to avoid being injured. It was too strenuous. This was the only feeling Yi Tianzong had when he fought with Shen Yu. Even though he had raised his battle power to the peak and used his strongest attack, Yi Tianzong still did not gain any advantage in the battle with Shen Yu. He was only evenly matched with Shen Yu. The threat of the divine light from Shen Yu's divine light was too great. Yi Tianzong felt that if he was careless and was hit, he would definitely be seriously injured or even half crippled. Therefore, he could only fight with all his might. The mana in his body was being consumed very quickly. After fighting for half an hour, Yi Tianzong had already consumed more than 30% of his mana. It must be known that Yi Tianzong's own mana was at least 10 times thicker than the mana of an ordinary martial artist of the same level in the profound spirit world. Not to mention, the density of his mana was also far beyond that of an ordinary martial artist of the same level. Even when he fought with so many Wu Xing 9th and 8th layer experts of the Penglai divine sect, he did not consume his mana as quickly as he did now. Little did he know that it was not only Yi Tianzong who felt that the battle was difficult. Even Shen Yu, who had always been indifferent, felt that Yi Tianzong was difficult and dangerous to deal with. What Yi Tianzong did not know was that the Shen Yu in front of him was actually the reincarnation of her original self. Shen Yu was originally born on the divine moon of the Great Thousand Worlds. She was the master of the divine moon of the Great Thousand World. Her talent was unparalleled, and she was responsible for maintaining the balance of yin and yang in the Great Thousand World. After countless years of cultivation and tribulations, she finally became a supreme heavenly lord. She was only one step away from transcending the Great Thousand World. However, because she was too stunning and beautiful, she was coveted by the rulers of the various supreme forces in the Great Thousand World. After rejecting everyone's pursuit, Shen Yu was targeted and besieged by the other supreme heavenly lords. After a great battle, Shen Yu was unable to fight against the crowd. Unwilling to be sealed and enslaved, Shen Yu not only self-detonated, but also detonated the entire divine moon of the Great Thousand Worlds, perishing together with all the heavenly lords who besieged her. As for Shen Yu, she used the source power of the divine moon of the Great Thousand Worlds to protect a trace of her soul when she self-detonated. She entered the endless space-time turbulence and drifted for countless years. Finally, she was stranded in the profound spirit world and reincarnated as a human. Princess Lian Yu was not Shen Yu's first reincarnation. Shen Yu's first reincarnation was during the mythological era. However, Shen Yu's reincarnation did not go smoothly, and she never awakened. It was probably because Shen Yu had once detonated the divine moon of the Great Thousand Worlds, causing the entire Great Thousand Worlds to be in turmoil. Countless creatures died because of the divine moon of the Great Thousand Worlds' self-detonation. As a result, Shen Yu obtained an unimaginable amount of karma. Although she had accumulated countless merits, it was nothing in front of the endless amount of karma. Fortunately, Shen Yu drifted in the endless space-time turbulence, far away from the Great Thousand Worlds where she was originally, and preserved a trace of life. However, Shen Yu's soul carried endless karma, and she did not dare to approach any Great Thousand Worlds or Middle Thousand Worlds. Once she approached, she would be discovered by the heavenly Tao or the will of heaven and earth, and be ruthlessly destroyed. During the mythological era, the profound spirit world had a great war because of the invaders from the great thousand world. The will of heaven and earth was heavily injured, and could not even take care of itself. Thus, Shen Yu seized the opportunity to enter the world through the space-time turbulence and reincarnate as a human. However, after the will of heaven and earth emerged, Shen Yu, who had snuck in, was targeted. Therefore, every time Shen Yu reincarnated, she either died prematurely or suffered a lot of hardship. Originally, under the targeting of the will of heaven and earth, Shen Yu's remaining trace of soul power gradually dissipated after many reincarnations. Perhaps Shen Yu would sink into oblivion and never awaken. However, in this reincarnation, Princess Lian Yu, because she had witnessed Yi Tianzong break the seal of heaven and earth, she had fallen in love with Yi Tianzong. Coupled with the recovery of heaven and earth, the will of heaven and earth paid less attention to Shen Yu, which gave Shen Yu a chance to catch her breath. Even Yi Tianzong did not know how vast and majestic his fortune was after he was chosen by the heaven's expanse immortal mansion and gradually became the disciple of an almighty figure in the myriad of worlds. Chapter 185. Originally, she wanted to divide it into 3 chapters, but she forgot about it and decided to just distribute it in 2 chapters. Finally, she asked for a bookmark and a subscription. Yi Tianzong might or might not know, but the hidden Shen Yu's soul was able to sense it. Although it had not awakened at that time, the inexorable survival instinct still influenced the reincarnated Princess Lian Yu to fall in love with Yi Tianzong. Moreover, within the Zhou dynasty, Princess Lian Yu was also closer to the Hao Ranjin sect's endorsements. She used her own identity to help the Hao Ranjin sect's endorsements solve some problems. As a result, she had an indirect connection with Yi Tianzong. Yi Tianzong and the Hao Ranjin sect were the pioneers of an era. They broke the seal of heaven and earth and gave the profound spirit world the hope and opportunity to return to its peak. Naturally, they would receive the favor and care of the will of heaven and earth. Those who were related to the Hao Ranjin sect and Yi Tianzong would also receive good fortune. Therefore, Shen Yu's soul that was about to dissipate finally grasped a chance of survival. After passing the final test of heaven and earth, which was the life and death crisis of Princess Lian Yu due to her impatience to cultivate, she finally succeeded in awakening. After successfully awakening, Shen Yu did not publicize it. Instead, she kept a low profile and cultivated. Even when the upper echelons of the great Zhou Empire wanted to betroth her to other powers, Shen Yu only revealed her high level of mastery and rejected them forcefully, stating that she wanted to reach the pinnacle of martial arts. Until today, when the Zhou dynasty was facing a life and death crisis, Shen Yu proposed to go with them to the Hao Ranjin sect. After several hundred years of cultivation, Shen Yu had some residual memories in her soul. After awakening, Shen Yu had undergone earth-shattering changes. Her strength had reached an unfathomable level. Towards Yi Tianzong, who gave her a chance of survival, even someone as arrogant as Shen Yu felt a trace of gratitude. No matter how powerful and noble she was in the past, no matter how stunning she was now only a remnant soul. To be able to smoothly cultivate to the 9th layer of the Wuxing sect, she had basically exhausted her last bit of foundation. Moreover, her memories were incomplete. In the future, she would have to struggle step by step on the path to the myth realm, just like an ordinary person. In order to make her cultivation smoother, Yi Tianzong, who had great fortune, became Shen Yu's first choice. Shen Yu, who had suffered a loss once, was very clear that it was impossible for a loner to cultivate alone. Only by creating a tyrannical force to serve her would she be able to go further. The Zhou dynasty's method, of course, Shen used to become the Hao Ranjin sects to become a core member to the upper echelons of the Hao Ran. In this way, she could only form a close relationship with Yi Tianzong. Otherwise, even if she said that she sincerely wanted to join the Hao Ranjin sect, they would definitely not accept her. But in the end, it was still because of her arrogance. Even though she knew that she would need Yi Tianzong's help to make her cultivation smoother in the future, she was still an arrogant person. Shen Yu believed that even if she needed Yi Tianzong's help, she should let Yi Tianzong know how powerful she was and take the initiative to help her. But she did not expect that her unknowingly arrogant attitude would actually annoy Yi Tianzong, causing them to fight. If she annoyed him, then so be it. As long as she could defeat Yi Tianzong with her own strength, then everything would be fine. But to Shen Yu's surprise, Yi Tianzong was actually so powerful. She originally thought that with her memories and experience as a supreme celestial, defeating Yi Tianzong with her current strength would not be easy, but it should not be too difficult. But the reality was that Yi Tianzong's fierceness and strength were beyond her expectations. Not only was he unable to defeat her for a long time, but his sword, which could cut through everything in the world, was almost on par with her waning moon divine light. Waning moon divine light was a very powerful divine ability in her memories. Now that she had not reached the myth realm, she could only use it as a martial skill. Every time she used it, it consumed a lot of her magic power. Now that she was fighting Yi Tianzong, she had consumed more than 40% of her magic power. If it were not for the moonlight at night, she might have been at a disadvantage. Right now, Shen Yu was riding a tiger and had no way to back down. If they continued to fight, both sides might suffer in the end. But there was no hope for the purpose of coming here. It was very likely that they would be enemies in the future. In this world, to become enemies with Yi Tianzong, who was blessed by the heavens and earth, Shen Yu, whose luck was thin, knew that she would face a difficult situation. If she was not careful, she might be besieged by countless experts and forces. In the end, she still could not escape the fate of death. But this time, she would completely die, and there would be no chance for her to reincarnate. This was unacceptable to Shen Yu, who had gone through a disaster and finally grasped a chance to awaken. If they stopped fighting and apologized, there would still be room for reconciliation. But this was also unacceptable to the arrogant Shen Yu. At this time, Shen Yu was already regretting. She regretted being so arrogant and commanding before. She regretted her somewhat laughable and lamentable inexplicable arrogance. It was this inexplicable arrogance that had caused her to die in the past. Only a trace of her soul had managed to escape and survive in this world. He had once been a supreme celestial of a super-great thousand world. Although he had been a peerless talent and had been coveted by many powerful celestial venerables and forces, he had been too arrogant and reclusive. He had offended too many people and had almost no friends. In the end, he would not have been besieged and killed by so many experts. Now, it was this inexplicable arrogance that caused what should have been a simple matter to become an irresolvable dilemma. This made Shen Yu feel both laughable and lamentable. At this time, she was asking for help, yet she was still so arrogant. She really did not know what she was talking about. She deserved to die. Just as Shen Yu was regretting, as the battle continued, Yi Tianzong, who had already used up 60% of his energy, became more and more serious. Then, the remaining magic power in his body began to boil, and his aura soared. From afar, he looked like a golden sun rising in the sky, illuminating the darkness. Yi Tianzong raised the boundless god's sword, and an indomitable aura exploded forth. It looked like he was going to burn his magic power to unleash his strongest attack and decide the outcome of this battle with Shen Yu. Seeing Yi Tianzong burn his magic power to go all out, Shen Yu, who had less than 20% of her magic power left, began to panic. This final attack could not be used by Yi Tianzong, or there would be no room for reconciliation. Shen Yu gritted her teeth and forcefully suppressed her arrogance. Then, she stood in the air with her hands behind her back, calming the magic power in her body. She looked at Yi Tianzong without any resistance, and did not have any intention of continuing the battle. Shen Yu's attitude of not resisting caused Yi Tianzong, who was gathering his power to unleash the final attack, to be somewhat puzzled. Yi Tianzong stopped gathering power and stood about 100 meters away from Shen Yu. He pointed his sword at her and looked at her warily. He asked in an unfriendly tone, "What exactly are you trying to do?" Hearing Yi Tianzong's hostile tone, Xinyu could not help but bitterly smile and sigh. She made a decision in her heart and forcefully threw away her inexplicable arrogance. Her tone was somewhat weak as she said, "Just now I was wrong. I should not have ordered you around like that. I don't want to fight with you anymore. I admit defeat. This time, I came here with the sincere intention of joining Hao Ranjin's sect. However, I did not expect that my arrogance would cause things to turn out this way." After saying these words, Xinyu looked at Yi Tianzong, who was opposite her, who was still looking at her vigilantly. The divine sword in his hand had not been put down. Xinyu bitterly laughed at herself and then continued, "I know that what happened just now made you feel disgusted with me, and that you do not believe me. Let me tell you about my origin. I was once a supreme god of a super-boundless world, and was born from the divine moon origin of that world, until my reincarnation, Princess Lianyu, fell in love with you and used her identity to help your Hao Ranjin sect. Back then, the spokesperson force of the Zhou dynasty solved some problems for you. Because of this, I indirectly formed a connection with you. You yourself have great luck, and you also broke the seal of heaven and earth, receiving the blessing of heaven and earth. And because of my indirect connection with you, I finally passed the test of heaven and earth's will and successfully awakened at the moment of life and death. Based on my incomplete memories, I have cultivated to this level. Now I have nothing and my luck is thin. There is no difference between me and an ordinary martial artist. My past experiences made me understand that if I want to have a smoother path of cultivation, I have to have a powerful force as my backing. To me, the most suitable thing is to have a close relationship with you, join the righteous faction, and share in your blessings and blessings. Now that I have merged with Lian Yu's consciousness, I actually have a good impression of you from the bottom of my heart. There is not much resistance to becoming your woman. However, as you can see, it was my arrogance that caused things to turn out this way. In the past, my arrogance caused me to offend too many people. In the end, I even died bearing a huge amount of karma. Now, it is my arrogance that has caused things that could have been easier to become difficult to advance or retreat. I sincerely want to join Hao Ranjin sect, and I hope that you can give me a chance. With my current strength, there is nothing in Hao Ranjin sect that is worthy of me scheming. The Zhou dynasty is simply not suitable for me. Only Hao Ranjin sect, under your leadership, can become a powerful force in the future that can protect me." After Xinyu finished speaking, her incomparably peerless face and clear eyes looked at Yi Tianzong with an expectant gaze. After Xinyu explained her background and goal, Yi Tianzong put away the boundless god sword, and the boiling Li in his body also calmed down. His expression was uncertain as he considered Xinyu's words. With regards to Xinyu's words, Yi Tianzong actually believed most of them. However, he was still not completely convinced. He was considering whether to give Xinyu a chance to join Hao Ranjin sect. Just as Yi Tianzong was considering, Ling Xinyue, who was originally watching the battle from afar, saw that the two people had stopped fighting. She flew over and stood beside Yi Tianzong. Seeing Ling Xinyue's somewhat doubtful gaze, Yi Tianzong repeated what Xinyu had said to Ling Xinyue. Of course, regarding Xinyu's words about wanting to be his woman, Yi Tianzong directly skipped it. He did not take it to heart. After hearing Yi Tianzong's words, Ling Xinyue looked at Xinyu, then looked at Yi Tianzong. Her beautiful and cold face was conflicted for a moment. Then, she made a decision and said softly to Yi Tianzong, "As long as it does not harm you or the sect, it is fine to let her join. She is very strong, and can be your helper. In the future, when you face the demon envoys, you will not have to fight alone." After Ling Xinyue finished speaking, she even hugged Yi Tianzong's arm tightly. Yi Tianzong looked at Ling Xinyue in astonishment. Just now, He did not mention that Shen Yu wanted to be his woman, but Ling Xinyue did not believe that Ling Xinyue did not feel it. At the beginning, Shen Yu said that Lian Yu loved him, and she had fused with Lian Yu's consciousness. Now she came to find him to end things, and now she admitted defeat. Although it was not said clearly, Ling Xinyue definitely understood what it meant for Shen Yu to join the Hao Ranjin sect. Yi Tianzong did not expect that Ling Xinyue would actually agree to let Shen Yu join the Hao Ranjin sect. This made Yi Tianzong and Shen Yu somewhat flabbergasted. Feeling Ling Xinyue hugging his arm tightly, Yi Tianzong smiled, then dotingly hugged Ling Xinyue into his embrace, kissed her forehead, and said lovingly, "Little girl, you are really all right. You will always be my most beloved woman. I will not give up on you. Don't worry." After comforting Ling Xinyue, Yi Tianzong looked at the somewhat envious and nervous Shen Yu in the distance, and said calmly, "You can join the Hao Ranjin sect and become a member of the Elder Hall. As for the Zhou dynasty, if they want to obtain the protection of my Hao Ranjin sect, it will depend on their sincerity. Don't play politics with me, otherwise I will exterminate them." 3 days later, my father and the higher-ups of Hao Ranjin sect will meet them in Haoran City. Seeing that Yi Tianzong had finally agreed to let her join the Hao Ranjin sect, Shen Yu's somewhat nervous mood finally calmed down. With a somewhat happy expression, she said to Yi Tianzong, "Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Don't worry, I will not do anything that will harm the Hao Ranjin sect. As for the Zhou dynasty, I will tell them what to do." Then, with a solemn expression, she softly said to Ling Xinyue, "Thank you." After Ling Xinyue slightly nodded, Shen Yu smiled sweetly at Yi Tianzong and Ling Xinyue. In the instant that peerless face blossomed into a smile, it was as if the world had lost its color. It was too beautiful and unparalleled. Yi Tianzong's calm mind couldn't help but fiercely tremble. Even the originally cold and beautiful Ling Xinyue was mesmerized for a moment. Seeing the faintly discernible figure turn into a ray of divine light and disappear into the night sky, Yi Tianzong held Ling Xinyue's pretty cheeks with both hands and said, "Little girl, you have to have confidence in yourself, do you understand? All right, let's go back. This Shen Yu's strength is truly a formidable opponent. After fighting for half a day, I'm also tired. Let's go back and have a good rest." After saying this, Yi Tianzong carried Ling Xinyue back to Tiangang Peak. On the other side, Shen Yu had also returned to her room in Haoran City. Sitting on the bed, she thought about how Ling Xinyue had agreed to let her join the Hao Ranjin sect not long ago, and her heart was filled with mixed feelings. Shen Yu, the past is the past. It's time to let go of your previous arrogance. Now that you have been reborn, it's time to live with a new attitude. Chapter 186. The next day, Shen Yu, using her identity as Princess Lian Yu, found the Grand Preceptor and the Crown Prince. She said to them indifferently, "Last night, I met with the Hao Ranjin sect's young sect master. If you want to obtain the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect, it will depend on your sincerity. Don't play politics, or else he will have the Hao Ranjin sect join the ranks of exterminating the imperial family. In addition, don't even think about protecting the Zhou dynasty. In this world, other than the Zhou dynasty, the rest are all sects and clans. These forces, including the Hao Ranjin sect, will not allow the Zhou dynasty to continue existing. The dynasty can only be disbanded. Only under this premise can you obtain the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect. Otherwise, even if you have to pay a great price, the Hao Ranjin sect will not protect the imperial family. In addition, as a price, regardless of whether we succeed or not, I will join the Hao Ranjin sect and become a member of the Hao Ranjin sect. I will work for the Hao Ranjin sect and will have nothing to do with the imperial family in the future. Starting today, in 2 days, the Hao Ranjin sect's sect master and upper echelons will come to Haoran City to meet you. As for how to obtain the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect, you can discuss it yourselves. I will not ask." In order to get rid of her identity as a member of the Great Zhou dynasty, Shin Yu directly changed the concept. She said that she wanted to join the Hao Ranjin sect as the price for the opportunity to negotiate with the Hao Ranjin sect. After she finished speaking, she left. It was clear that Shin Yu's words shattered the Grand Preceptor and the Crown Prince's fantasies. Before, they had indeed wanted to pay a price in exchange for the Hao Ranjin sect's help. They wanted to borrow the power and status of the Hao Ranjin sect to protect the Zhou dynasty and make those super forces and holy lands not dare to act rashly. To them, borrowing power was an instinct. Although they knew that it would be difficult to protect the Zhou dynasty, they did not expect Shin Yu's words to directly shatter their fantasies. According to Shin Yu's words, the Hao Ranjin sect's young sect master did not care what price they had to pay. If they wanted to obtain the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect and allow the imperial family to survive, they had to dissolve the Zhou dynasty. This was the prerequisite. Yi Tianzong's words basically represented the intentions of the entire Hao Ranjin sect. Thus, the Grand Preceptor and the Crown Prince could only think of countermeasures with grief and indignation in their hearts. No matter what, the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty had to survive. Otherwise, there would be no meaning in this encirclement, interception, and heavy casualties. As for the matter of Shin Yu joining the Hao Ranjin sect, they could no longer care about it. Furthermore, in their hearts, they hoped that Shin Yu could join the Hao Ranjin sect. It would be best if she could form a relationship with Yi Tianzong or the core upper echelons of the Hao Ranjin sect. She could also fight for benefits for the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty. In the empire, regardless of whether a woman's martial talent or cultivation was high or low, in the eyes of the entire empire's ruling class, they were all targets for marriage. If they wanted to obtain freedom, they would have to be as powerful as Shin Yu. But even so, although the Grand Preceptor and the Crown Prince respected Shin Yu, they still treated Shin Yu as a candidate for marriage alliances. It was because she understood this point that Shin Yu could not wait to draw a clear line between herself and the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty and join the Hao Ranjin sect. Because she knew that in the future, when faced with enemies or huge benefits, the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty could not be relied on. 2 days later, Yi Haoran and some of the higher-ups of the Haoran Orthodox school met them at the city lord's mansion in Haoran City. The Grand Preceptor and the Crown Prince were anxious. Yi Tianzong had already spoken to his family and the upper echelons of the Hao Ranjin sect regarding Shin Yu's matter. They knew that Shin Yu was second only to Yi Tianzong in terms of battle prowess. In the future, she would leave the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty and join the Hao Ranjin sect to serve the sect. With Yi Tianzong's guarantee, the upper echelons of the Hao Ranjin sect naturally did not have any objections. The addition of an almost invincible super expert to the sect was of course to everyone's delight. Moreover, although Yi Tianzong did not go into detail, he could not prevent the upper echelons of the Hao Ranjin sect from guessing that Shin Yu's relationship with Yi Tianzong was definitely not ordinary. Otherwise, why would the almost invincible Shin Yu join the Hao Ranjin sect after hundreds of years? There must be something going on. Wasn't it just protecting the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty? As long as they knew what was good for them, with the current strength and status of the Hao Ranjin sect, it would not be a problem. Therefore, when they saw the imperial preceptor and the crown prince, the upper echelons of the Hao Ranjin sect had already prepared a draft. As the sect master, Yi Haoran, as the sect master, did not open his mouth. However, the hall master of the administrative hall, Zhao Xian, went straight to the point and said, "Let's not waste any more time. We also know the purpose of your visit. Let's get straight to the point. The Zhou dynasty must be disbanded. Right now, this world belongs to the sects and clans. The imperial dynasty will not be allowed to continue existing. We also cannot go against the world's powers for you. If you want the Hao Ranjin sect to protect the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty, that's fine." Show your sincerity and don't play any bargaining games with us. Also, we can only protect you for 100 years at most. These are the preconditions of our negotiation. If you can accept it, then we will continue to negotiate. If you can't accept it, then you can leave. To tell the truth, if we protect you, then the Hao Ranjin sect will be stealing the fruits of the hard work of many sects and clans. We will become enemies with them and leave behind a future threat like you. If it wasn't for your Princess Lian Yu's strength being good and agreeing to work for the Hao Ranjin sect, we definitely would not have come to see you. Now, tell us the price you want to pay. The hall master of the administrative hall, Zhao Xian's words completely blocked most of the imperial preceptor and the crown prince's paths of retreat. They were undoubtedly very angry and felt very humiliated. Had the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty fallen to such a state? However, they could not leave. Although they did not want to admit it, no one knew the Zhou dynasty's current situation better than them. It was already on the verge of destruction. They really did not have time to delay. In the end, the imperial preceptor said dejectedly, "The imperial family will use 20% of the Zhou dynasty's resources and 50% of the secret manuals in exchange for the protection of the Hao Ranjin sect for 100 years. The administrative hall master, Zhao Xian, said, "We don't lack resources. 20% is fine. The Hao Ranjin sect wants copies of all your secret manuals. Remember, all of them. Don't use those useless and incomplete secret manuals to fool us. In addition, the Hao Ranjin sect will help you mediate with the other factions. However, as the price of suppressing the other factions' dissatisfaction, you will have to pay for those resources." The imperial preceptor and the crown prince looked at each other and finally said helplessly, "Okay." After the imperial preceptor and the crown prince agreed, Yi Haoran finally said, "In that case, the Hao Ranjin sect will immediately send people to the imperial city of the Zhou dynasty with you to mediate with the other factions. However, I'll say the ugly words first. The Hao Ranjin sect will protect the imperial family of the Zhou dynasty for 100 years. However, you can't use the name of the Hao Ranjin sect to stir up trouble and secretly plot against the Hao Ranjin sect. Otherwise, our agreement will be null and void." The imperial preceptor's body stiffened. Some of the small calculations in his heart failed again. He forced a smile and said, "Don't worry, Lord Yi. The imperial family will not do such a thing. However, if other factions take the initiative to attack the imperial family, then we will not sit and wait for death." Yi Haoran said, "This is up to you. The Hao Ranjin sect is only responsible for protecting the imperial family from destruction. You can't use the name of the Hao Ranjin sect to make enemies everywhere and smear the name of the Hao Ranjin sect. We won't care about anything else." After Yi Haoran finished speaking, he began to arrange the team to go to the great Zhou dynasty's imperial city. This negotiation involved hundreds of super factions and holy lands. He could only lead the team himself. The others couldn't because they didn't have enough weight. The next day, Yi Haoran led Yi Haoyun and more than 300 experts of the Hao Ranjin sect, who were above the seventh heaven of Wusheng. They took the transmission formation with the imperial preceptor and the crown prince to the great Zhou dynasty's imperial city. The actions of the Hao Ranjin sect naturally couldn't be hidden from the various factions who had been paying attention to the Zhou dynasty. Regarding the interference of the Hao Ranjin sect, the super factions and holy lands who participated in the plot against the Zhou dynasty all had a bad premonition in their hearts. While they secretly hated the fact that they couldn't stop the Zhou dynasty's group, they were also very dissatisfied with the interference of the Hao Ranjin sect. They made up their minds to not give in easily. As for provoking and killing the people of the Hao Ranjin sect, they didn't have the guts to do so. After Yi Haoran and the others arrived at the great Zhou dynasty's imperial city, the family heads, sect heads, and sacred lords of the various factions all brought their people to the great Zhou dynasty's imperial city one after another. They were ready to negotiate with the Hao Ranjin sect. Chapter 187. My cold is quite serious. I went for an infusion today and only wrote 2 chapters. I feel much better now. I will write more tonight and see if I can write 1 more chapter tomorrow. While waiting for the leaders of the various factions to arrive at the great Zhou imperial city, the imperial tutor and the crown prince had already informed the emperor of the Zhou dynasty and the decision-makers of the imperial family of the results of the negotiations with the Hao Ranjun sect. It was obvious that both the emperor and the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty were very dissatisfied with the results of the negotiations. However, the severe situation and the attitude of the Hao Ranjun sect forced them to compromise. Yi Haoran had already said that if the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty did not agree to this condition, they would not interfere and they could do whatever they wanted. In the end, the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty suppressed their anger and humiliation and compromised. After all the leaders of the various factions had arrived, the Hao Ranjun sect and the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty began to negotiate with the various factions. After 3 days of intense negotiations, they finally reached an agreement. The result of the negotiations was that the Zhou dynasty would be dissolved. The remaining imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty would no longer be able to use the title of imperial family. They would be changed to the Zhou clan. They would only be able to occupy an area with a radius of 3 million miles. They would also have to give up 60% of their resources and all their secret manuals, except for the core secret manuals. They would also have to promise that they would not take the initiative to attack the various factions for 1,000 years in exchange for the survival of the Zhou clan. In the past few days of negotiations, the great Zhou royal family had truly felt the thoughts and determination of the various major forces to kill them. If it weren't for the Haoran Orthodox sect standing there to deter the various major forces, they might have been annihilated on the spot by the various major forces who had come. After experiencing the dangerous situation of being targeted by everyone, the imperial family of the great Zhou dynasty no longer mentioned that the Hao Ranjun sect was taking advantage of the situation. Their attitude towards the Hao Ranjun sect had changed greatly. There were some things that one would never know the dangers of without experiencing it personally. If it weren't for the Hao Ranjun sect, the members of the great Zhou royal family felt that the hundreds of forces would have destroyed them. After settling the matter of the Zhou dynasty, Yi Haoran and the other higher-ups of the Hao Ranjun sect returned to Tiangang Peak. They would continue to develop Hao Ranjun sect with peace of mind and improve their strength. Xin Yu also officially joined the Hao Ranjun sect and became a member of the Elders' Hall. In the days that followed, Yi Tianzong studied the various secret manuals he had obtained from the Penglai sect and the Zhou dynasty, absorbing their essence and fusing them into his Heaven's Expanse mysterious scripture, Haoran's True Heaven's Wind formula, and Haoran's Heaven's Wind holy technique. He also created a myth realm cultivation method that was suitable for everyone in the Hao Ranjun sect to cultivate. Other than that, he would occasionally give lectures on martial arts in the martial arts lecture hall and spar with Xin Yu. Because the two of them were almost equal in strength, if Yi Tianzong didn't use the Heaven's Expanse sword and sword techniques, he wouldn't be able to defeat Xin Yu. After battling with Xin Yu again and again, not only did the Heaven's Expanse mysterious scripture become more perfect, Yi Tianzong also further unearthed some of his own potential, and his battle strength increased by another level. Martial arts like the World Suppression Fist and the Heaven Covering Palm were also deduced by him to become more profound and mysterious. In the blink of an eye, 10 years had passed. In these 10 years, with Xin Yu as his sparring partner, Yi Tianzong's battle strength had not only increased by 2 times, reaching a level where he could fight Xin Yu barehanded, but even Ling Xinyue's battle strength had also improved greatly. With her current strength at the peak of Wu Xing's 9th heavenly stage, she was able to deal with about 40 ordinary 9th heavenly stage powerhouses of Wu Xing. At the same time, Yi Tianzong had comprehended a variety of cultivation methods, martial skills, secret techniques, and other secret technique. Once again, he had improved the Howran Heavenly Dipper True Incantation and the Howran Heavenly Dipper Saint Incantation. The two improved martial arts cultivation methods were superior to the previous ones in all aspects. At the same time, the martial arts and sword techniques that came with them were also more powerful. After the improved cultivation methods, the strength of everyone in the Hao Ran Zhen sect increased again. At the same time, in these 10 years, the Hao Ran Zhen sect also established a relationship with the Sea tribe and launched a series of cooperation. The one who contacted the Hao Ran Zhen sect was a Sea tribe that was 3 million miles away from the coast of the Central Plains, the Mermaid Clan. The Mermaid Clan was relatively close to the Central Plains and was also one of the stronger Sea tribes. They ruled the sea area with a radius of 5 million miles. The Mermaid Clan was also born in the mythological era and had been passed down since then. In the process of the recovery of the world, they gradually came into being and occupied the vast sea area. Because the Mermaid Clan was relatively close to the land, they had more frequent exchanges with the human clan of the Central Plains. In ancient times, they had even helped the Central Plains to resist the ravages of the Abyss Demon Clan. Since Yi Tianzong's previous trip to the Penglai sect, Yi Tianzong and the higher-ups of the Hao Ran Zhen sect realized that the vast and boundless sea contained unimaginable resources and treasures. It was definitely a treasure trove of resources. Moreover, some of the specialties in the sea area were very helpful for the martial arts cultivation of warriors. Therefore, after making preparations, the Hao Ran Zhen sect began to try to contact the Sea tribe in the boundless sea area in the hope of achieving cooperation and mutual benefit. After all, many of the treasures and spiritual materials on the land were also needed by the Sea tribe. Because they had made inquiries in advance, the people of the Hao Ran Zhen sect directly went to one of the 3 powerful sea tribes in the coastal area, the Mermaid Clan. In the coastal area, there were a total of 3 powerful tribes in a radius of 10 million miles. One was the Mermaid Clan, one was the Deinosuchus clan, and the other was the Sea Lion clan. Among the 3 tribes, the Deinosuchus clan was the most powerful, but they were not interested in the human clan. The Mermaid Clan and the Sea Lion Clan were equal in strength. The Mermaid Clan was the closest to the land, while the Sea Lion Clan was the furthest. The Hao Ran Zhen sect's contact with the Mermaid Clan in the coastal area was relatively smooth. Because the Mermaid Clan had more contact with the human clan on the coast, they naturally had some understanding of the Hao Ran Zhen sect that was famous in the Central Plains. After some discussion, the Hao Ran Zhen sect and the Mermaid Clan reached an agreement. The Mermaid Clan would be responsible for providing the Hao Ran Zhen sect with the specialties of the sea area, while the Hao Ran Zhen sect would provide the Mermaid Clan with elixirs and weapons that could improve their strength. As a show of sincerity, the Hao Ran Zhen sect deployed medium-distance and short-distance teleportation formations for the Mermaid Clan. In order to facilitate the trade and cooperation, the Hao Ran Zhen sect also built a coastal city that covered an area of 100 miles on the coast of the Central Plains. With the continuous supply of spiritual materials, spiritual herbs, and other specialties from the sea area provided by the Mermaid Clan, the strength of the Hao Ran Zhen sect improved even faster. At the same time, the Mermaid Clan's overall strength also improved rapidly because of the elixirs and weapons provided by the Hao Ran Zhen sect. In 10 years, the Mermaid Clan's strength had increased by more than 20%, and they were more confident in facing the threat of the Deinosuchus clan. Just as the Hao Ran Zhen sect was developing its strength with peace of mind, the Demon-Killing Alliance was defeated by the Demon Clan. The Demon-Killing Alliance suffered heavy losses and was forced to retreat thousands of miles. The bad news of the 6 Demon-Killing Alliance's sub-alliances being destroyed spread throughout the Central Plains. When this shocking news came out, all the forces in the Central Plains did not believe it at first. After confirming it again and again, nervousness and fear followed. After the Demon-Killing Alliance was defeated by the Demon Clan, the Hao Ran Zhen sect was also the first to receive the news. It turned out that during the war with the Demon Clan, there were 6 places where the demon-killing alliance's sub-alliances were fighting. The strength of this demon-killing alliance's sub-alliance was too terrifying and unbelievable. All the experts of Wuxing who fought against this demon-killing alliance, including those at the 9th heaven, could not resist 2 moves. Those at the 8th heaven and 7th heaven of Wuxing could not resist even 1 move. They were all crushed by the demon-killing alliance. The demon-killing alliance suffered heavy casualties, and a large number of Wuxing's experts died. The demon-killing alliance took the opportunity to launch a big counterattack. The death of a large number of experts caused the demon-killing alliance to have almost no power to fight back under the attack of the Demon Clan. The demon-killing alliance was forced to retreat thousands of miles before the demon-killing alliance stopped chasing. During this process, 6 of the demon-killing alliance's sub-alliances were destroyed by the demon army led by the 6 demon-killing alliance's sub-alliances. Not only these 6 sub-alliances that were destroyed, but the strength of the demon-killing alliance in the other places where the demon-killing alliance was fighting was also at least twice as strong as before. The demon-killing alliance was completely defeated. Each place where the demon-killing alliance fought had to retreat at least hundreds of thousands of miles. After this defeat, the entire demon-killing alliance lost at least 40% of its strength. Every force that joined the demon-killing alliance suffered either light or heavy losses, especially the Hao Ranjin sect. In this battle with the Abyss Demon Clan, the Hao Ranjin sect was the focus of the demon-killing alliance's attack. More than 200,000 of the 300,000 Haoran disciples in the demon-killing alliance were killed or injured in this battle. Less than 100,000 disciples returned to the demon-killing alliance in good condition. Chapter 188. When the Hao Ranjin sect received the news, Yi Haoran and the other higher-ups of the Hao Ranjin sect were heartbroken. There were more than 300,000 disciples in the demon-killing alliance. Half of them were the elites among Haoran's disciples, and there were more than 50 chosen ones. According to the report of the surviving Elder Haoran, after this battle, other than the heavy casualties of the elite disciples, only 7 of the more than 50 supreme disciples returned alive. Of the more than 300 martial sage elders who led the team, only 20 were left alive. Among the 36 forces in the demon-killing alliance, the Hao Ranjin sect suffered the heaviest loss. They lost so many elite and chosen ones, as well as Wuxing elders, all at once. This was a huge loss that had never happened in the past hundreds of years. The entire Hao Ranjin sect was in an uproar, followed by endless anger and killing intent. They had to take revenge. After hearing the news, all the Hao Ranjin sect elders and disciples begged to take revenge for their dead comrade. Yi Haoran personally went to Yi Tianzong, who was in seclusion, and told Yi Tianzong about the huge loss of the Hao Ranjin sect in the battle with the demon race. After Yi Tianzong heard this, the anger in his heart surged out. The righteous sect had spent a lot of resources to nurture each and every one of them. It would be unbearable for them to suffer a single casualty. More than 200,000 of them were killed or injured in one go, including many elite disciples, Sky Pride disciples and martial saint elders. Those prodigious disciples had all been nurtured with countless resources to become outstanding seeds with unique constitutions. They were the future mainstays of the righteous path, and there was hope for them to break through to the myth realm. However, only 7 out of 50 of them were still alive. Of the 60 to 70,000 elite disciples who had died, at least a third of them could break through to the martial saint realm in the future. Many of the martial saint elders who had died had been with the righteous path for hundreds of years, and they had all died just like that? After Yi Tianzong came out of seclusion, he flew into a rage in Haoran's main hall. He gritted his teeth and said, "We must take revenge. I will do it myself. Leave those demon envoys to me and Xin Yu. This time, the Hao Ranjin sect will use 80% of our strength. We have armors, weapons, pills, exploding flame beads, and formation disc. We must make the demon race pay a heavy price." Just as the colossus Hao Ranjin sect was preparing for war, the master of Lingyun Hall, the master of Kunlun sect, and the sacred masters of the 10 great holy lands came to the door. This time, the demon-killing alliance suffered a crushing defeat at the hands of the demon race. They and the Hao Ranjin sect formed a united camp and suffered the most casualties. Among their camp, the Hao Ranjin sect suffered the heaviest casualties. The Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lands, who had not suffered such heavy losses for hundreds of years, could not swallow their anger. But according to the information they had gathered, they knew that the 6 blue-purple existences that appeared among the demon race were the demon envoys. Until now, the terror of the demon envoys was still fresh in their minds. They were very clear that they could not deal with the 6 demon envoys by themselves. Without Yi Tianzong from the Hao Ranjin sect to deal with those demon envoys, no matter how many people they sent, it would be useless. Until the Hao Ranjin sect absolutely could not swallow their anger, the master of Lingyun Hall, the master of Kunlun sect, and the sacred masters of the 10 great holy lands came to the door. They wanted to discuss with the Hao Ranjin sect how to take revenge. As for the demon-killing alliance, to be honest, they did not expect the demon-killing alliance to do anything. It was not that the demon-killing alliance was useless and could not help them. It was just that the demon-killing alliance was too large and had too many members. Now that they had suffered a defeat, it was impossible for them to organize a strong force to fight the demon race again in a short period of time. By the time the demon-killing alliance had accumulated enough strength, the demon race would have been ready. If they wanted to take revenge on the demon race as soon as possible, they still had to rely on the alliance formed by the demon-killing alliance and the Hao Ranjin sect. When the master of Lingyun Hall, the master of Kunlun sect, and the sacred masters of the 10 great holy lands arrived at the Hao Ranjin sect, they found that the entire Hao Ranjin sect had been mobilized and was wantonly preparing for war. After seeing Yi Haoran, the master of Kunlun sect asked directly, "Lord Yi, may I know why your sect has made such a big move?" Although he did not say the latter part of his sentence clearly, everyone present knew what he meant. Yi Haoran did not keep them in suspense. With a serious face, he said, "Yes, just as you think, the demon race killed more than 200,000 disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect this time, including hundreds of senior Wuxing elders, and more than 50 talented disciples, but only 7 of them are left. The Hao Ranjin sect can't take this lying down, so we must avenge our dead disciples. This time, we will use all our resources and mobilize 80% of our strength. Tianzong will deal with those demon envoys, and the rest of the demon race, the Hao Ranjin sect, will definitely make them pay the price. This time, we will not stop until we destroy several important strongholds of the demon race and slaughter hundreds of millions of demons." Although they were mentally prepared, the Lingyun Hall master, the master of Kunlun sect, and the 10 sacred masters were still very shocked when they heard Yi Haoran's resolute tone and the decision of the whole Hao Ranjin sect. Although they knew that the Hao Ranjin sect would make a big move this time, they did not expect that they would mobilize 80% of their strength and use all their resources. They were going to fight the demon race to the death. However, when they heard Yi Haoran say that only 7 of the talented disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect were left, they understood why the Hao Ranjin sect was so desperate. There were at most a dozen talented disciples in their respective sects, and all the talented disciples who had reached the level of heaven's pride were blessed with good luck and peerless talent. In the future, they had a lot of hope to become strong masters of the myth realm, which was related to the future of the whole sect. As a result, more than 40 disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect died at once. No wonder the Hao Ranjin sect was going all out. If they were in the same situation, they would also go all out. However, after seeing the determination of the Hao Ranjin sect, the master of Lingyun Hall, the master of Kunlun sect, and the 10 sacred masters also expressed their determination to avenge their dead disciples and were willing to act together with the Hao Ranjin sect. Anyway, Yi Tianzong would deal with the demon envoys, so they did not need to worry. They were not afraid at all. They directly sent 60% of their strength and gathered together with the Hao Ranjun sect to form an army of 18 million people. These 18 million people were all strong masters of the martial lord realm and above. None of them were warriors below the martial lord realm. The army of 18 million people did not split up. Instead, they merged together and went straight to the strongholds of the demon race. Through the teleportation channel and teleportation formation that the Hao Ranjun sect had secretly built in the past, they were directly teleported to the stronghold of the demon race where the demon envoys had appeared. During the battle between the Demon Killing Alliance and the demon race, a purple-blue demon envoys appeared in each of the 6 strongholds of the demon race. There were a total of 6 of them. Yi Tianzong alone was not enough to deal with these 6 demon envoys. Even if he had the boundless God Sword, he would not be able to deal with them in a short time. After all, 7 demon envoys had died one after another at the hands of Yi Tianzong. No matter how stupid the demon race was, they would definitely have a way to deal with it. Since they knew that Yi Tianzong had a powerful divine sword, and those demon envoys dared to appear again, they definitely had something to rely on. Moreover, the strongholds of the demon race were all connected by teleportation channels. As long as Yi Tianzong appeared in one of the strongholds, the demon envoys from the other 5 strongholds would definitely support him through the teleportation channels. If Shen Yu did not appear, then Yi Tianzong would be in a disadvantageous situation of being surrounded by 6 demon envoys. Chapter 189. However, what the demons didn't know was that the Hao Ranjun sect had added Shen Yu, a super fighter whose strength was on par with Yi Tianzong's. In order to increase Shen Yu's strength, Yi Tianzong not only gave Shen Yu a battle armor that could defend against Wu Xing's 9 Heavens attack, but he also found a glass sword for her from his collection in the Immortal Mansion. This glass sword was a spoil of war that Yi Tianzong had obtained from killing a supreme elder of the Clear Sky sect, who was equivalent to the 3rd heaven of Myth Realm. In these 10 years, Yi Tianzong had gradually accepted the fact that Shen Yu had sincerely joined the Hao Ranjun sect. He was no longer as guarded against her as he was in the beginning. He allowed her to comprehend the countless ancient books and records in the Hao Ranjun sect's collection, and she never lacked cultivation resources. Shen Yu herself was the reincarnation of a former supreme venerable's soul. Although the soul's power and foundation had been exhausted, her comprehension and aptitude were second only to Yi Tianzong in the Hao Ranjun sect, surpassing Ling Xinyu. Therefore, she only lacked the conditions for external resources. With the countless ancient books and records in the Hao Ranjun sect as a reference, Shen Yu didn't spend too much time creating a set of Shen Yu Heaven Sutra that suited her. In addition to the defensive armor and glass sword provided by Yi Tianzong, her strength had increased by about 10% compared to before she joined the Hao Ranjun sect. With Yi Tianzong and Shen Yu, it was definitely enough to deal with the siege of the 6 demon envoys. After 6 days of continuous teleportation through 2 underground tunnels and 3 long-distance, large-scale teleportation formations, the army of 18 million from the Hao Ranjun sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lands finally arrived in the vicinity of the demon's stronghold. Yi Haoran, the Lingyun Hall's master, the Kunlun sect's master, and the 10 great sacred masters sent a message to the Demon Killing Alliance's main alliance at the same time. The general content was that the failure of the battle with the demon race was due to the demon race's premeditated plan and the appearance of the 6 demon envoys. Right now, our Hao Ranjun sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 great sacred lands have gathered most of their forces to take revenge. Leave the demon envoys to us. If you want to take revenge, then gather your forces and take action. If you don't have the guts, then obediently keep an eye on the demons in other places and don't drop the ball. Would the major forces of the Central Plains, who had been utterly defeated by the devil race and had suffered heavy losses, be willing to accept this? Of course not. After learning that the 6 terrifying demons had once fought with the Haoranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, and Kunlun sect, and that Yi Tianzong, as the alliance master of the demon-killing alliance, directly took on the task of dealing with the 6 demon envoys, the major forces that wanted to take revenge also began to mobilize their forces and take action. When it came to dealing with the demon race, both the human race and the demon race in the Central Plains were relatively united. Most of the forces began to mobilize their forces to take revenge. However, no matter when, there would always be people who dropped the ball. This time, there were 34 superforces and 2 Holy Lands that had no intention of taking revenge against the demon race. Instead, they negatively affected the other forces. These forces that dropped the ball were all recorded. While the demon-killing alliance was still gathering their forces and consolidating their forces, the army of 18 million soldiers formed by the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands had already engaged in a fierce battle with an important stronghold of the demon race. Although it was a fierce battle for the demon race, it was a fierce battle for the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, and the other forces that wanted to take revenge on the demon race were delighted. This time, in order to take revenge, the Hao Ranjin sect directly brought along 70% of their stockpile of exploding flame pearls, which amounted to 140 million exploding flame pearls. More than 1.6 million members of the Hao Ranjin sect, who were at the Marquis Wu realm and Wu King realm, stood at the front of the army of 18 million soldiers and threw exploding flame pearls at the demon race. Boom, boom, boom. Countless explosions sounded. All the demons below the Wu Zun realm, who stood in front of the Hao Ranjin sect, were killed by the exploding flame pearls. The Wu Zun realm and Wu Xing realm experts of the demon race were also surrounded by the people of the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands. They were besieged and killed. It was just an important stronghold of the demon race. Although it was powerful, it was far from being a match for the 13 forces, including the Hao Ranjin sect and Lingyun Hall. Hundreds of millions of low-level demons were bombarded by the exploding flame pearls by the more than 1.6 million disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect, who were at the Marquis Wu realm and Wu King realm. The exploding flame pearls caused the demons of the Marquis Wu realm and Wu King realm within a radius of 1 kilometer to be either smashed into pieces or seriously injured. The people of the Hao Ranjin sect hated the abyss demons so much that they didn't fight the demons at all. They directly bombarded them with exploding flame pearls without stopping. Soon, the demons of the stronghold of the demon race, which had a population of nearly 200 million, suffered heavy casualties under the attack of the exploding flame pearls by the disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect. In the sky, the members of the Wu Zun realm and Wu Xing realm of the demon race were quickly killed by the experts of the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands, who outnumbered them by 3-1. They didn't intend to leave any survivors. The number of experts of the demon race was decreasing rapidly, both on the ground and in the sky. This time, the allied forces of the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands took revenge very quickly and suddenly. They even traveled through the transmission channels and transmission formations secretly built by the Hao Ranjin sect. Their movements were also very secretive. The demon race didn't have time to respond at all. They were caught unprepared by the allied forces of the 13 forces, including the Hao Ranjin sect. They didn't have time to activate many defensive measures. In a short period of time, they suffered heavy casualties. They were pushed to the vicinity of the demon race's nest and were about to be attacked. When the demon race's defense collapsed under the attack of the exploding flame pearls of the Hao Ranjin sect, the Hao Ranjin sect stopped attacking. They joined forces with the troops of the Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands and set up an encirclement around the tunnel of the demon race's nest. They planned to encircle the demon race and wait for their reinforcements. From the beginning of the attack to the arrival of the demon race's underground nest, Only less than 2 hours had passed. More than 80% of the experts of the demon race on the sky battlefield had been killed. The remaining experts of the demon race couldn't hold on for much longer. In less than 2 hours, the demon race in the underground nest had enough time to find reinforcements. Encircling this stronghold of the demon race and waiting for the demon race underground to find reinforcements. Then, they would eliminate the demon race. This was the battle strategy decided by Yi Haoran, the Lord of Lingyun Hall, the Master of Kunlun Sect, and the 10 Holy Lords. To put it bluntly, it was to encircle the stronghold and attack the reinforcements. The main purpose of this revenge against the demon race was to eliminate as many experts of the same level as Wu Zun and Wu Xing of the demon race as possible. When the demon race underground went to other places to seek reinforcements, the first reinforcements who came were also experts of the same level as Wu Zun and Wu Xing. As long as this stronghold of the demon race was defended, there would be an endless stream of experts of the demon race from other places. Now, the demon-killing alliance was still gathering strength. The Hao Ranjin sect, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands formed a force. It was equivalent to a lone army penetrating deep into the enemy territory without any reinforcements. The demon race would never let go of this good opportunity to eliminate the allied forces of the Hao Ranjin sect, the Lingyun Hall, and the other forces. They would definitely send a large number of experts. On the other hand, if this stronghold was completely destroyed, the Allied forces would have to spend a lot of time traversing a long distance to find the next important stronghold of the demon race. It would be very troublesome. Chapter 190. Just as the experts of the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands were carrying out their final encirclement against the experts of the demon clan, Shen Yu was currently engaged in an intense battle with a demon envoy that was guarding the stronghold of the demon clan. Yi Tianzong was watching from the side. Shen Yu had never come into contact with a demon envoy before, so Yi Tianzong handed this demon envoy over to her to deal with. At the same time, she could also familiarize herself with the methods and strength of the demon envoy. This time, the demon envoy that appeared had black and red sharp claws on its 2 claws. Although it was not as good as the colored glass divine sword in Shen Yu's hands, it was still able to exchange blows with Shen Yu. Shen Yu held the colored glass divine sword in her hands and used her self-created sky moon sword technique. Every time she waved her divine sword, there would be a crescent moon sword light that attacked the demon envoy. Yi Tianzong's strength had been raised several times, and his battle prowess was 2 levels higher than the first time he faced the demon envoy in the Hao Ranjin sect. Shen Yu's strength was on par with Yi Tianzong's, so dealing with a single demon envoy was naturally not a problem. Even though the demon envoys that appeared this time had weapons in their hands and their attack power had increased by quite a bit, their sharp black claws could easily tear through space. However, after less than 2 hours of intense battle, Shen Yu still firmly held the upper hand. Yi Tianzong paid attention to the battle between Shen Yu and the demon envoy, while also paying attention to the situation of the demon clan's stronghold below. Right now, the demon envoy that was fighting with Shen Yu was already at a complete disadvantage, and it was only a matter of time before he was destroyed by Shen Yu. However, in order to avoid any accidents, Yi Tianzong still joined forces with Shen Yu to eliminate the demon envoy in front of them, reducing the number of demon envoys that they would have to face. After eliminating the demon envoy, Yi Tianzong and Shen Yu returned to the ground, guarding above the stronghold of the demon clan. After a quarter of an hour, Yi Tianzong noticed that a large number of demon powerhouses had appeared in the tunnel of the demon stronghold. It seemed that the reinforcements of the demons had arrived. The first to come out were the 3 blue-purple demon envoys. After the 3 demon envoys appeared, they immediately saw Yi Tianzong standing above the passage, his entire body emitting a powerful aura. After seeing Yi Tianzong, these 3 demon envoys knew that the demon envoys guarding this place had already been eliminated by Yi Tianzong. Yi Tianzong was the enemy of the entire demon race, as well as the number one enemy of these demon envoys. All the demon envoys that came in contact with Yi Tianzong had been eliminated by Yi Tianzong. These demon envoys who became demon envoys later on hated Yi Tianzong to the core. With eyes filled with resentment and dense killing intent, the three demon envoys who appeared first simply didn't care about the other Wu Xing powerhouses that they could easily kill and directly rushed towards Yi Tianzong. When Yi Tianzong saw the three demon envoys rushing towards him, he didn't stop. Instead, he flew 10,000 li high up in the sky, and the three demon envoys followed closely behind. Shen Yu stayed above the passage of the demon clan's stronghold, paying attention to the traces of the other demon envoys. The demon race didn't know that Yi Tianzong had a helper, so it was very likely that the three demon envoys would delay Yi Tianzong, and then the remaining two demon envoys would be sandwiched between the Wu Xing level powerhouses of the demon race, and start a massacre against the powerhouses of the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands. After the three demon envoys chased Yi Tianzong for 10,000 li high up in the sky, a large number of demon race powerhouses rushed out from the passage behind the three demon envoys. Then, they started a fierce fight with the powerhouses of the Wu Xing and Wu Zun of the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands. In the huge passage that was 10 li wide, numerous demon race powerhouses rushed out at an extremely fast speed like a huge black torrent. In a short while, hundreds of thousands of demon race powerhouses of the level of Wu Xing and Wu Zun had appeared, and started a fierce battle with the powerhouses of the allied forces in the vast sky. Although the allied forces of the Wu Xing and Wu Zun had launched a group attack against these demon race powerhouses the moment they appeared, the number of demon race powerhouses increased much faster than the number of demon race powerhouses being eliminated. That sky-reaching black torrent seemed to have no end, and a large number of demon race powerhouses were emerging from the ground at every moment. When more than 3 million demon race powerhouses had appeared, although the reinforcements of the demon race were still coming in a steady stream, the speed and number of their appearance had greatly decreased. It seemed that the demon race powerhouses that had rushed out at an extremely fast speed just now had only appeared after they had gathered underground. After all, it took time for the transmission passage to transport demon race powerhouses, and it was impossible for countless demon race powerhouses to appear at once. Fortunately, the allied forces of the Wu Xing and Wu Zun were still able to deal with the 3 million plus demon race powerhouses of the allied forces of Wu Xing and Wu Zun. The two sides fought fiercely in the vast sky, and it was a life and death struggle. The reinforcements of the demon race were still coming in, and Shen Yu, who had been waiting above the passage, finally discovered new demon envoys. Sure enough, as Yi Tianzong had expected, under the observation of Shen Yu, 3 demon envoys appeared in the passage of the demon race's stronghold. Because Shen Yu had concealed her aura, these 3 demon envoys did not discover her immediately. After the 3 demon envoys appeared, except for 1 demon envoys who flew up to 10,000 li to support the other 3 demon envoys in besieging Yi Tianzong, the remaining 2 demon envoys directly attacked the allied forces of Wu Xing. After seeing the 3 demon envoys appear, Shen Yu was very surprised. She did not expect that the demon race still had a card up their sleeve. There were a total of 7 demon envoys. Some time ago, when the demon-killing alliance suffered a crushing defeat, the demon race did not dispatch all of their demon envoys, but instead hid one. However, it did not matter whether they hid it or not. 4 demon envoys besieging Yi Tianzong, although it would be difficult, Shen Yu believed that Yi Tianzong would be able to withstand it. Then, the remaining 2 demon envoys would be left to her. After seeing the 2 demon envoys kill several Wu Xing experts of Lingyun Hall and Heavenly Snow Holy Land in an instant, Shen Yu did not delay, and shot out 2 rays of waning moon divine light at the 2 demon envoys. The 2 demon envoys were not prepared, and were ambushed by Shen Yu, who was much stronger than them, and were immediately hit. Although the waning moon divine light that Shen Yu shot out would consume a large amount of her magic power, the power of the waning moon divine light was very strong, enough to meet Yi Tianzong's boundless sword head-on. When the two demon envoys were hit by Shen Yu's waning moon divine light, it was equivalent to being slashed by Yi Tianzong's boundless sword. They immediately suffered a great loss and were seriously injured. While you're sick, I'll take your life. After awakening, Shen Yu had inherited the ruthlessness of a supreme celestial venerate. After ambushing the two demon envoys, Shen Yu directly launched an attack on one of the demon envoys. She held the colored glass divine sword in her hand, and slashed out streaks of condensed and sharp waning moon sword light, which directly hit the demon envoys that were hastily defending themselves. The immense power of the waning moon sword light directly hit the demon envoys, who were hastily defending themselves, hundreds of miles away. Shen Yu followed closely behind, not letting the demon envoys off, and shot out another ray of waning moon divine light. The speed of the waning moon divine light's attack reached the demon envoys in an instant, and the flying demon envoys could not react at all, and were hit again. The demon envoys, who were already seriously injured, were continuously attacked by the waning moon divine light, and directly lost most of their combat power. Shen Yu caught up with them while they were still flying, and ended their lives with a single sword strike. Then, according to Yi Tianzong's instructions, she shot out a ray of magic power flame and burned the already dead demon envoys, leaving only a drop of blood that was filled with dense dark evil power. Shen Yu waved her hand and put it into her storage bag. Then, she turned around to look for the other seriously injured demon envoys. Originally, she was surprised that she had not been attacked or blocked by the other demon envoys when she had been continuously attacking the dead demon envoys. However, when she took a closer look, it turned out that the other seriously injured demon envoys had been blocked by Ling Xinyue. At this moment, Ling Xinyue was engaged in a fierce battle with the seriously injured demon envoys. Ever since Ling Xinyue became Yi Tianzong's woman, under Yi Tianzong's constant support and guidance, her physique had continuously improved, and her foundation had also strengthened. Her corresponding strength had also increased. Before Shen Yu's arrival, she had always been the second strongest person in the Hao Ranjin sect, second only to Yi Tianzong. Chapter 191. In Yi Tianzong's Wanxiang formation there were 5 levels: normal, elite, heaven's pride, king, and sovereign. Ling Xinyue had originally reached the king level, but after Shen Yu joined the Hao Ranjin sect, Ling Xinyue's thirst for strength became even more stubborn. She always sharpened herself in the extreme environment of the immortal mansion, causing Yi Tianzong to feel both heartache and anger. After 10 years in the outside world, and nearly 40 years in the immortal mansion, Ling Xinyue finally broke through her limit. Her battle prowess had entered the sovereign level, and her strength had greatly increased. Holding the new moon divine sword that Yi Tianzong had specially made for her, Ling Xinyue fought fiercely with the heavily injured demon envoy, and even had a slight advantage. After seeing Ling Xinyue and the demon envoy fight, Shen Yu did not immediately make a move. Instead, she stood to the side and watched as Ling Xinyue and the demon envoy fought. Before, the demon envoy's strength was much higher than Ling Xinyue's by a large margin. Now that the demon envoy was heavily injured, it was a good opportunity for Ling Xinyue to practice. However, Shen Yu knew that even if the demon envoy was heavily injured, Ling Xinyue still had a slight advantage. In the end, she would still be defeated by the demon envoy. After killing the demon envoy, Shen Yu knew that the demon envoy's foundation was that drop of blood that was filled with dark and evil energy. As long as the demon envoy was not killed in a short period of time, no matter how serious his injuries were, he would be able to slowly recover under the effects of that drop of blood. Now that Ling Xinyue was fighting the injured demon envoy, she only had a slight advantage. This gave the demon envoy time to recover. He did not need to fully recover from his injuries, and the demon envoy would slowly reverse the situation and defeat Ling Xinyue in the end. However, with Shen Yu, who was much stronger than the demon envoy, watching from the side, it would not be too late to kill the demon envoy when Ling Xinyue was no match for him. This was also Shen Yu's plan. While Wu Zun and Wu Xing of the allied forces were fighting the demon envoy, there was still a steady stream of demon envoy reinforcements coming from the huge passage of the demon envoy's stronghold. In order to control the speed and number of demon envoy on the battlefield and prevent the demon envoy from exceeding the number of the allied forces were at a disadvantage. The Martial Marquis and Martial King experts, who had formed an encirclement around the Devil Clan on the ground, also began to move. The more than 15 million allied forces on the ground, including the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect and the 10 Holy Lands, all approached the passage of the demon envoy's stronghold. Then, they separated into different camps, took out the formation plates prepared by each force, and arranged their own trap and kill formations around the huge passage with a diameter of 10 miles. The Haoran Orthodox sect, Cloud Reaching Palace, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands had prepared their own trap and kill formations, which covered an area of 30 miles around the Devil Race's stronghold and sealed it tightly. As a result, those Devil Race experts who were still coming to reinforce the Devil Race were immediately blocked by the layers of trap and kill formations. Compared to Wu Zun and Wu Xing, Marquis Wu and King Wu alone might be able to kill them easily. However, the trap and kill formations arranged by more than 15 million Marquis Wu and King Wu were a fatal threat to Wu Zun and Wu Xing. Even if there were 3,000 super experts of Wu Xing at the ninth heaven, they could do nothing in the face of such a large number of Marquis Wu and King Wu's trap and kill formations. The reinforcements of the demon envoy's army were intercepted and besieged by more than 15 million Marquis Wu and King Wu on the ground. The allied forces fighting in the sky had no more worries for the time being, so they focused on dealing with the demon envoy. In this vast battlefield with a radius of 100,000 miles, the senior members of the Hao Ranjin sect, led by Yi Haoran, Yi Haoyun and other members of Yi Tianzong's family, performed very well in the battle against the demon envoy. Yi Haoran and other members of Yi Tianzong's family thought that with the special physique of the peak of the profound stage and the powerful cultivation methods and martial skills that they had cultivated, their battle strength had reached the king level. Therefore, they could kill the demon envoy at the ninth heaven of Wu Xing within a few moves. As for the other senior members of the Hao Ranjin sect, most of them were outstanding disciples in the past, and their battle strength had reached the level of the heavenly sons. Therefore, they could kill the enemy within a dozen moves. After killing the enemy, Yi Haoran and others, as well as the senior members of the Hao Ranjin sect, went to support the other members of the Hao Ranjin sect, and tried to kill the demon envoy in the shortest time possible. After defeating their opponents, the experts of the Hao Ranjin sect began to support the experts of the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect and the 10 Holy Lands. As the situation on the battlefield in the sky became better and better, the demon envoy who was fighting with Ling Xinyue also gradually recovered from his disadvantage. His injuries were constantly recovering, and he began to suppress Ling Xinyue. No matter how hard Ling Xinyue tried, she still could not change the fact that she was gradually being suppressed. On the other side, after seeing that Ling Xinyue was in a disadvantageous position, Shen Yu stopped watching the battle. Taking advantage of the fierce battle between the demon envoy and Ling Xinyue, Shen Yu first sent a sound transmission to Ling Xinyue. "Alright, don't force yourself. If you want to fight, there will be plenty of opportunities in the future." This time, 6 demon envoys appeared. After dealing with this one, there will be 4 more in the sky, and I will also go and help. You are not inferior to anyone else, and there are plenty of opportunities and time to improve yourself. There is no need to be so impatient. If you are injured, I can't bear the responsibility. While sending a sound transmission to Ling Xinyue, Shen Yu once again took the opportunity to send out a ray of waning moon divine light, seriously injuring the demon envoy, who had recovered from his injuries, again. Then, holding the colored glass divine sword, she directly launched a fierce attack on the heavily injured demon envoy. Under Shen Yu's powerful strength, the heavily injured demon envoy could not resist for long. With an unwilling roar, his head and primordial spirit were cut off by Shen Yu's sword. After collecting the remaining demon blood, Shen Yu nodded to Ling Xinyue and said, "Take care of yourself, I will go first." Then, Shen Yu's body turned into a ray of light, and directly flew up into the sky. After arriving at the sky, Shen Yu saw Yi Tianzong holding the boundless divine sword in his hand, fiercely fighting with 4 demon envoys. This time, Yi Tianzong was facing 4 demon envoys who had weapons. He did not draw upon the Howren's righteous qi, and instead relied on his own strength to fight with the demon envoys. Yi Tianzong was surrounded by the 4 demon envoys, and they all launched their fiercest and most murderous attacks at each other. The fluctuations of their battle affected the surrounding 10,000 miles of the sky, and countless Yuan Qi riots were caused by the battle between Yi Tianzong and the demon envoys. Yi Tianzong's strength had increased by 2 levels compared to before, and when he used the boundless divine sword, its power was also much more powerful. Although the 4 demon envoys were equipped with weapons, they did not gain any advantage in their battle with Yi Tianzong. Instead, Yi Tianzong gained the upper hand. When Shen Yu arrived, Yi Tianzong was in the middle of an intense battle with the 4 demon envoys. "Do you need my help?" Shen Yu sent a sound transmission to Yi Tianzong. "Of course, although I can defeat them, it will take too much time. Let's attack together and destroy these 4 demon envoys." Yi Tianzong replied. After receiving Yi Tianzong's reply, Shen Yu sent out the waning moon divine light towards one of the demon envoys who was attacking Yi Tianzong. The waning moon divine light's power was extremely strong, and its attack speed was as fast as the speed of light. If one was not prepared in advance, they would not be able to dodge it, and could only take it head-on. After Shen Yu sent out the waning moon divine light, the demon envoys who were targeted by Shen Yu immediately suffered a calamity, and because they were not prepared, they were immediately heavily injured. Shen Yu did not care about the other demon envoys, and directly launched a series of fatal attacks towards the injured demon envoys. Chapter 192. The 4 demon envoys besieging Yi Tianzong had restrained most of their auras when Shen Yu appeared in the sky. Therefore, the 4 demon envoys didn't pay much attention to the sudden appearance of Shen Yu. Because according to their understanding and the information they had gathered over the years, in the entire Central Plains, only Yi Tianzong's strength could pose a threat to them. The other experts, whether they were from the human clan or the demon clan, were not worth mentioning. Furthermore, facing Yi Tianzong's fierce attacks, they could barely take care of themselves. How could they have the energy to guard against Shen Yu? Thus, the demon envoys that were attacked by the waning moon divine light were immediately seriously injured. Then, under Shen Yu's continuous fatal attacks, they did not last long before being cut down by her sword. On the other side, with one less demon envoy to attack, the pressure on Yi Tianzong was greatly reduced. Immediately, the 3 demon envoys were completely suppressed. The Qianquan force field temporarily restrained the 3 demon envoys. Yi Tianzong used the first move of the boundless sword technique, 10,000 feet cold light. Under the continuous wave of the boundless godly sword, countless huge sword qis that could destroy all things, carrying Yi Tianzong's will as they attacked the 3 demon envoys. Although the 3 demon envoys did their best to block Yi Tianzong's attacks, under the extremely tyrannical 10,000 feet cold light, the 3 demon envoys still received heavy injuries. When they noticed that the human martial artist that appeared later had already eliminated one of their demon envoys, the 3 injured demon envoys were not stupid. They knew that the situation was not good, and the situation was dangerous. Immediately they thought of retreating. Thus, together, they sent out 3 demon claws at Yi Tianzong. Then, without looking back, they rushed towards the demon race's stronghold below. After Yi Tianzong waved his godly sword to break the 3 demon envoys' attacks, he did not stop. He immediately chased after the 3 demon envoys. However, the 3 demon envoys ignored Shin Yu's existence. After dealing with one demon envoy, seeing that the other 3 demon envoys were about to escape, Shin Yu directly used a large amount of Fa Li to send out 3 powerful waning moon divine lights at once. The 3 demon envoys did not run very far before they felt an extreme sense of danger. With no time to think, Zhang Xian hurriedly mobilized the energy in his body to defend himself. The 3 demon envoys were struck by the waning moon divine light and were sent flying while vomiting blood. The injuries they had suffered from Yi Tianzong's attacks worsened and their escape was interrupted. At this time, Yi Tianzong had already caught up. This time, he fully activated the universe force field to bind the 3 demon envoys. Yi Tianzong brandished his divine sword, and it didn't take long for him to kill the 3 demon envoys. Putting away the 3 drops of demon blood, Yi Tianzong let out a long sigh of relief. Looking at Shen Yu who was flying over, he asked, "How are you?" Shen Yu replied, "I'm fine, it's just that I used up a lot of my Fa Li." Yi Tianzong nodded and took out a jade bottle and threw it to Shen Yu, saying, "There are elixirs to recover Fa Li inside. It's safer here. You can recover here first. I'll go down and take a look." After saying that, Yi Tianzong flew down to the battlefield. After watching Yi Tianzong disappear, Shen Yu poured out a clear and dense elixir from the bottle. Just by smelling it, Shen Yu felt refreshed. Without hesitation, Shen Yu took the elixir and began to recover her Fa Li. Yi Tianzong soon arrived at the battlefield between the allied forces and the demons. After seeing that the allied forces already had a great advantage, and that Ling Xinyue, his parents and others were safe and sound, Yi Tianzong did not stop and directly went to the demon's stronghold passage that had been tightly sealed by Marquis Wu and King Wu, who had more than 15 million troops. Yi Tianzong directly used his own powerful strength and superb cultivation of formations to open up a gap that could only allow him to enter without affecting the sealing of the demon's stronghold passage. After passing through layers of formations, Yi Tianzong finally entered the Howren's Heavenly Dipper sword formation that Howren's disciples had set up. The reinforcements of the demons could not break through the layers of formations, so they could only think of ways to break through the large formation that was used to seal the passage. At this time, in the innermost layer of the Howren's Heavenly Dipper sword formation, there were already more than 100,000 experts of Wu Zun and Wu Xing fighting Howren's disciples. After Yi Tianzong passed through the Howren's Heavenly Dipper sword formation, he was like a tiger that had entered a flock of sheep, slaughtering those demon experts. Under the control of Yi Tianzong, countless sharp and fierce Howren's sword qi directly killed and injured tens of thousands of Wu Zun and Wu Xing level demon experts. After achieving success with one move, Yi Tianzong once again used the sword qi to wipe out a large number of demon experts. The remaining demons were so scared that they scrambled to escape back into the stronghold passage. After seeing those demons flee back into the passage, Yi Tianzong also came to the entrance of the huge passage, then took out a low-quality version of the divine purification talisman that he had used before and directly crushed it at the entrance of the passage. The moment he crushed it, a beam of light that could purify all evils in the world penetrated the huge passage that was 10 miles in diameter. Whether it was the demons in the passage or in the underground lair, as long as they were within 30 miles of the purifying beam of light, all the demons below the 3rd heavenly layer of Wu Xing were completely wiped out by the power of the divine purification talisman. Holding the boundless godly sword in his hand, Yi Tianzong said to more than 1.6 million Howren's disciples, disciples of Wu King level, follow me into the underground lair. Let's massacre the demons. After that, Yi Tianzong took the lead and entered the huge passage, heading straight for the underground lair of the demons. After Yi Tianzong, Howren's disciples also removed the sword formation, and the hundreds of thousands of Wu King-level disciples entered the huge passage like a meteor shower, heading straight for the underground lair. After Howren's disciples removed the formation, the people of Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lands on the outer layer also removed the formation that sealed off the space. After knowing that Yi Tianzong and Howren's disciples had entered the underground lair, the experts of the various forces who had defeated the demons in the sky battlefield did not hesitate and all led the way into the underground lair. After Yi Tianzong entered the lair, he found that the underground lair was very vast. It was more than 500 miles wide and more than 10 miles deep. There were still countless low-level demons in the lair. When Yi Tianzong appeared in the underground lair, countless demons swarmed towards Yi Tianzong. Seeing this, Yi Tianzong directly took out 4 low-level purifying talismans and crushed them in 4 directions. Suddenly, 4 purifying halos lit up in the dark underground lair, eliminating all the demons within a radius of dozens of miles. When the 4 purifying halos gradually disappeared, the Howren's disciples behind Yi Tianzong also entered the underground lair. 9 people in a group, free to hunt. After Yi Tianzong instructed the Howren's disciples behind him, he directly headed towards the place where the demons were densely gathered. After all, the purpose of this trip was to massacre the demons and avenge the dead disciples of Hao Ranjin sect. Yi Tianzong did not have the awareness that the strong could not bully the weak, so he began to massacre the demons in the underground lair. Yi Tianzong went all the way down. The deeper he went, the stronger the demons became. Yi Tianzong continuously used the sword-sweeping demons, a large-scale group attack sword technique. From time to time, he would also take out low-level purifying talismans and crush them in the direction of the demons. From time to time, purifying halos within a radius of 15 miles would light up. Then, a large number of demons would be destroyed. While Yi Tianzong was cleaning up the demons in the depths of the lair, the people from Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 holy lands, who had killed the demons, all entered the underground lair one after another. Without the slightest hesitation, they began to slaughter all the demons they saw. 4 experts like Wu Zun and Wu Xing, those low-level demons were equivalent to Wu Zong and Wu Zong. There was no reason for them to be spared. After learning that Yi Tianzong had advanced into the depths of the underground lair, those experts like Wu Zun and Wu Xing also went into the depths of the lair. Any demons they encountered along the way were their target. Chapter 193. At the lowest level of the demon race's underground lair, there were 3 large-scale transportation tunnels. While Yi Tianzong and the others were mercilessly cleaning up the low-level demons above, there was still a steady stream of demon race experts appearing at the lowest level of the demon race's lair. Because after Yi Tianzong dealt with the demon envoy, he quickly destroyed the demons trapped in the formation on the surface, and then directly attacked the underground lair. As a result, the demons at the lowest level did not have time to receive the news of their defeat. Therefore, there were still demon race experts from other places rushing over through the transportation tunnels. It was not until Yi Tianzong, who was the first to enter the underground lair, reached a depth of 5 kilometers that the demons at the lowest level received the news that the human race allied forces above ground had already attacked. It was too late to escape. The demons at the lowest level decisively stopped the transportation tunnels that were still open, and then directly destroyed them. After destroying all the teleportation channels, all the demons rushed up with determination in their eyes. Yi Tianzong already knew about the movements of the demons at the deepest level of the lair through his divine sense. Although he wanted to stop them, the countless demons along the way were like a storm, converging towards him from all directions. Whether he used the sword-sweeping demons or crushed the divine purification talisman, those demons rushed towards him without any fear. With every step Yi Tianzong took, he had to destroy countless demons. Yi Tianzong's whole body exuded a mighty and masculine golden light, like a destructive whirlpool that devoured countless devils, and all the devils that approached him. Whether it was the low-level demons or those at the level of Wu Zun and Wu Xing, none of the demons could stop his advance. As the demons madly converged towards Yi Tianzong, the experts from the Hao Ranjin sect, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands were also rapidly approaching Yi Tianzong's position. Most of the demons in the underground lair rushed towards Yi Tianzong, which greatly reduced the difficulty for the others in the front. The arrival of these allied forces lessened the pressure on Yi Tianzong. He massacred the demons wantonly while Yi Tianzong continued to advance deeper into the demonic nest. The demon envoys had already been eliminated, and the transmission channel in the depths of the basement had been destroyed. Besieging the stronghold and attacking reinforcements was no longer feasible, so they had to completely destroy this demon stronghold. In the past, Yi Tianzong had planned to keep the demons as a whetstone for all the factions of the Central Plains, so that they wouldn't always think about internal strife. Therefore, Yi Tianzong and the entire Hao Ranjin sect only sent out less than 20% of their forces to join the demon-killing alliance to fight against the demon race. Otherwise, if Yi Tianzong and the Hao Ranjin sect got serious, they would eventually wipe out all the demons on the ground, even though they would suffer a lot of casualties. However, things didn't go as planned. Yi Tianzong's decision to keep the demons alive gave them time to accumulate their strength. Through the overall strength of this demon stronghold, it could be seen that the strength of the entire Abyss demon race was at least 3 times stronger than what they had shown in the war against the demon-killing alliance. Just this demon stronghold was so powerful. If he and Xin Yu weren't there, then the Hao Ranjin sect would have to pay a considerable price to destroy this demon stronghold. Demon envoys had appeared in these important demon strongholds outside, so in the demonic mountain range, the demon stronghold on the ground, there must be more than 5 demon envoys. After seeing the strength of this demon stronghold, Yi Tianzong no longer wanted to avenge the dead Hao Oran sect. In order to avoid uncontrollable things from happening again, he now planned to uproot all the important demon strongholds in the Central Plains, leaving only the demon stronghold in the demonic mountain range. After more than an hour of wantonly killing all the demons in this demon stronghold, which stretched more than 500 kilometers underground and was more than 10 kilometers deep, were finally wiped out by all the experts of the Allied forces, leaving no survivors. After more than an hour of strong output, Yi Tianzong was a little out of breath, and nearly 70% of the Fa Li in his body had been consumed. Looking at Xin Yu and Ling Xinyue standing beside him, Yi Tianzong nodded slightly, and then said to the higher-ups of the Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 Great Holy Lands, "This demon stronghold has been destroyed, but the real war has just begun. You have all seen the strength of this demon stronghold. The strength of the various sects in the Central Plains is increasing, and the strength of the demons is also increasing. Their development speed is not any slower than ours. Just a few of the important strongholds in the periphery already have experts like the demon envoys, then in the demonic mountain range, the demon stronghold, there will definitely be even more demon envoys. The strength of the demons in the demonic mountain range will be even stronger. Now is not the time for a decisive battle, so we should completely uproot the other strongholds in the periphery. Otherwise, even more uncontrollable things will happen. What we need to do next is to integrate the majority of the strength of the human clan and the demon clan in the Central Plains in the demon-killing alliance, and completely uproot the demon strongholds in the periphery. All that is left is to have a decisive battle with the demons in the demonic mountain range. Does anyone have any opinions? Yi Haoran and the entire Hao Ranjin sect naturally supported Yi Tianzong. Lingyun Hall's master, Kunlun sect's master, and the 10 Great Holy Masters also thought that Yi Tianzong's words were reasonable. The strength of these few sects was far from enough to uproot the demon strongholds. They had to integrate the strength of the human clan and the demon clan in the Central Plains. After completely annihilating all the demons in the stronghold, the people of Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy masters returned to their respective sects through the teleportation formation and the teleportation channel. After arranging the aftermath, Yi Tianzong, Yi Haoran, the Lingyun Hall's master, Kunlun sect's master, and the 10 great holy masters all came to Tianjiao City, where the demon-killing alliance's headquarters was located. Yi Tianzong gathered all the leaders of the human and demon clans in the Central Plains. He sat on the seat of the chief of the demon-killing alliance and said to the nearly 2,000 people in the alliance hall, "Just yesterday, our Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, Tai Xian sect, True Yen sect, Heavenly Snow sect, Misty sect, Heavenly Sword sect, Xianluo sect, Drifting Cloud sect, Wuji sect, Gulan sect, and Xiaoyao sect gathered their forces and completely destroyed an important stronghold of the demon clan. When the devil race's stronghold was destroyed, 7 devil envoys appeared on the devil race's side. The so-called demon envoys were the ones who led the annihilation of our demon-killing alliance's 6 sub-alliances. This demon envoy is extremely powerful. Currently, only I and my sect's Xin Yu can deal with it. There definitely aren't many demon envoys among the demon race, and now, 7 of them have already been killed by me and Xin Yu. However, when we destroyed the demon clan's stronghold, I discovered that the true strength of the demon clan's stronghold was at least 3 times stronger than when they fought against our demon-killing alliance. In that case, the strength of the demon clan's stronghold, the demonic mountain range, will definitely be even more unfathomable. Therefore, this time, my Hao Ranjin sect, Lingyun Hall, Kunlun sect, and the 10 great holy lands have gathered all of you for the purpose of completely destroying the 100 or so demon clans' strongholds scattered throughout the Central Plains to avoid the uncontrollable situation that happened a few days ago. After eradicating these demon clans' strongholds, we only need to deal with the demon clan in the demonic mountain range. After Yi Tianzong stated the purpose of gathering all the leaders of the various forces, everyone in the alliance's main hall began to discuss with each other. None of the leaders of the various forces were idiot. Of course, they knew that Yi Tianzong's proposal was correct. It would be beneficial to all the forces of the human race and the demon race. The battles with the demon clan in the ancient era were basically recorded by all the major forces in the Central Plains. Many Wu Xing experts had fought with the demon clan before. Compared to the battles with the demon clan in the ancient era, and compared to the current situation, the situation was already very good. Chapter 194. Please add and subscribe to my book. The strongholds of the demon race were scattered all over the Central Plains, and they were a great threat to the nearby human race and demon race forces. Under the strong approval of the human race and demon race forces near the strongholds of the demon race, the entire demon-killing alliance finally agreed to gather forces to destroy the strongholds of the demon race. Of course, after agreeing to this plan, the other forces of the demon-killing alliance, under the support of Yi Tianzong, began to encircle and annihilate the 34 superforces and 2 holy lands that had been passive in fighting against the demon race. To resist foreign aggression, one must first pacify the internal situation. This was something that Yi Tianzong agreed with. Once the war between the demon-killing alliance and the demon race broke out, these passive superforces and holy lands would definitely drag the demon-killing alliance down. It was better to eliminate them first to eliminate future troubles. After deciding to completely destroy the strongholds of the demon race, all the human race and demon race forces in the Central Plains were mobilized. Not only the super forces and holy lands, but also the first-rate forces, second-rate forces and third-rate forces, under the orders of the super forces and holy lands, all gathered forces above the level of Wuzongjing and Wuzongjing. Then, they went to the strongholds of the demon race in batches through teleportation formations. Such a big movement in the Central Plains naturally could not be hidden from the spies of the demon race. With just a little investigation, they knew that the demon-killing alliance was going to have an unprecedented decisive battle with the demon race. Naturally, the demon race would not sit still and wait for death. Not only did they also gather forces, but they also sent 2 billion demon race soldiers to the strongholds of the demon race in the demonic mountain range, which was the headquarters of the demon race, to provide support. All the forces of the Central Plains had been preparing for 2 months. Even in the vicinity of the weakest stronghold of the demon race, there were 30 million demon-killing alliance soldiers, including 10,000 experts at the level of Wu Sheng. This time, it was not only the super forces and holy lands that were dealing with the demon race, but also the experts of the first-rate, second-rate and third-rate forces. The overall strength of the demon race had been greatly increased. In order to prevent the demon envoys from going on a killing spree during the war with the demon race's stronghold, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu had headed straight for the Sky Demon Mountain range a day before the battle began. When they reached the Sky Demon Temple outside the Sky Demon Mountain range, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu each took out a dozen or so explosive flame pearls and threw them down the Sky Demon Peak. Then, they didn't hide their auras at all. Following a series of earth-shattering explosions, tens of thousands of unprepared devilish beings were instantly killed. All the Wu Xing level experts on Heavenly Devil Peak, who were alarmed by the commotion, flew hundreds of miles into the sky and saw Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu. As Yi Tianzong was the #1 enemy of the demon race, all the experts at the level of Wu Zun and above could recognize him. Suddenly seeing Yi Tianzong coming to their Heavenly Devil Peak, all the Wu Xing level experts of the demon race were gnashing their teeth in hatred, but at the same time, they were also very frightened. These people on Heavenly Devil Peak were not enough for Yi Tianzong to kill. The palace master of the Sky Demon Temple, who was guarding the Sky Demon Temple, immediately sent out a signal for help of the highest level at the sight of Yi Tianzong. After flying thousands of miles into the sky, a long black arrow directly exploded, and the sound wave of the explosion spread tens of thousands of miles away. After seeing the signal for help sent out by the people of the Sky Demon Temple, Yi Tianzong didn't give the palace master any time to talk nonsense. He directly sent out a divine soul attack, causing these thousands of Wu Xing level experts of the demon race to stagger in the sky to hold their heads and wail in pain. After that, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu rushed into the camp of the demon race with the boundless divine sword in their hands, Ling Xinyue and colored glass divine sword in their hands. The three of them easily killed the devils in front of them each time they swung their swords, as if they were killing ants. In less than a quarter of an hour, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu had killed the majority of the demon race. They didn't chase after the remaining few. After all, they didn't come here to kill these small fries. After throwing dozens of exploding flame pearls at the Heavenly Devil Peak, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu continued to advance towards the Heavenly Devil Mountain range. However, this time, they didn't fly at a low altitude of hundreds of miles. Instead, they flew at a height of thousands of miles. Flying at a height of thousands of miles, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu continuously threw down exploding flame pearls at the Heavenly Devil Mountain range, causing a huge commotion. Behind the three of them, thousands of Wu Xing level demon race experts gradually gathered. Moreover, the number of demon race experts was still increasing. These demon race experts behind Yi Tianzong's group all recognized Yi Tianzong. However, they were intimidated by Yi Tianzong's reputation, so they didn't act rashly. Instead, they waited for more of their own race and demon envoys to arrive. Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu flew slowly in the sky above the Heavenly Devil Mountain range. After flying for more than 500,000 miles, they finally stopped. Thus, they had already caused a big enough commotion. The Wu Xing level demon race experts had already rushed over from all directions. Under the leadership of the demon envoys, they surrounded Yi Tianzong's group from all directions. These demon race experts who surrounded Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu in the innermost layer were all Wu Xing's 8th or 9th heavenly layer. The demon race experts, who were 6th and 7th heavenly layer Wuxing, formed another encirclement around the 8th and 9th heavenly layer demon race expert. Looking at the 10 demon envoys and at least 1,000,000 demon race experts in front of them, Ling Xinyue didn't say anything. She just clenched the divine sword in her hand. Xin Yu's expression was somewhat unnatural as she said to Yi Tianzong, "You'd better have a way to deal with these demon envoys and demon race experts. Otherwise, we'll all die here today." Before Yi Tianzong could speak, a demon envoy on the opposite side laughed sinisterly and said, Jie, Yi Tianzong, you're really arrogant and conceited. Your strength is indeed stronger than us demon envoys, but you think you can behave atrociously in our heavenly Devil Mountain range just because of this? I really don't know if you have a card up your sleeve or if you're courting death. Yi Tianzong said calmly, "Oh, you don't have to worry about whether I have a card up my sleeve or if I'm courting death. It's just that I didn't expect that the strength of your demon race in the heavenly Devil Mountain range has already reached such a level. There are already 10 demon envoys, including the 7 demon envoys that were eliminated by my Hao Ranjin sect in the past few months. It seems that the strength of the Wushang demon lord behind you has recovered quite quickly. No wonder you're not afraid of bleeding." After Yi Tianzong finished speaking, the complexion of the 10 demon envoys on the opposite side suddenly changed. The demon envoy in the middle said, "How do you know about the Wushang demon lord? What else do you know?" Yi Tianzong coldly snorted and said, "I know a lot more. At first, I just wanted to leave your demon race behind, leaving a common enemy for the human race and the demon race, so as to avoid internal strife. However, it gave your demon race time to develop and strengthen, and also gave you demon envoys the opportunity to appear. However, it's not too late now. The demon race experts gathered here are also quite powerful forces of your demon race. Destroying you here should be enough for your demon race to feel distressed." The other demon envoy on the other side was so angry that he laughed and said, "Humph, you're really talking alarmist even when you're at death's door. Your strength is indeed higher than ours, but the strength of our demon race isn't something you can resist. You're really crazy to think that you can eliminate us." Yi Tianzong didn't speak again. Instead, he sighed and a divine talisman that exuded an obscure purifying aura appeared in his hand. This was the complete version of the purifying divine talisman. Once crushed, it would emit a purifying divine light that would purify and eliminate all demon race experts below the myth realm within a radius of 10,000 li. Yi Tianzong stretched out his left hand and pinched the purifying divine talisman. Ling Xinyue, Shen Yu, and all the demon envoys and demon race experts were paying attention to Yi Tianzong's movements. When they saw Yi Tianzong stretch out his hand and take out a jade talisman, the demon envoys and demon race experts, who were originally confident of victory, suddenly felt a strong sense of crisis in their hearts. Not good. Before they could figure out why, Yi Tianzong smiled at them and said, "Goodbye." Then, he crushed the purifying divine talisman. The moment the purifying divine talisman was crushed, an incomparably resplendent purifying divine light, which could purify all dark, evil, and other negative energies in the world, was centered around Yi Tianzong. It formed a purifying halo that was 10 li thick and quickly spread out in all directions. The halo formed by the purifying divine light carried an incomparable purifying power. At a speed faster than light, it swept through the encirclement formed by the demon envoys and demon race experts around Yi Tianzong's group of 3 in an instant. Those demon envoys and demon race experts didn't have time to escape. They were directly purified by the purifying divine light, leaving nothing behind. Those demon race experts who had formed an encirclement outside were also swept away by the purifying divine light, leaving no survivors. In just a short moment, the millions of demon envoys and demon envoys that had originally surrounded Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu within a radius of 10,000 li were completely annihilated by Yi Tianzong's jade talisman. The only thing left was the dark demon blood left behind by the 10 demon envoys. Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu looked at the vast sky in shock, as if they were in a dream. Yi Tianzong smiled faintly and waved his hand to collect the 10 drops of demon blood. He said to Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu, "Come back to your senses, let's continue forward." Ling Xinyue looked at Yi Tianzong with worship and adoration in her eyes. She didn't say anything and just threw herself into Yi Tianzong's arms, tightly hugging Yi Tianzong. Shen Yu looked at Ling Xinyue enviously. She couldn't help but ask curiously, "What was that just now?" Yi Tianzong smiled and said, "It's just a purifying divine talisman that I prepared before. It was specially prepared for the demon race. It's just that I only used it today." Chapter 195. After exterminating 10 demon envoys and millions of demon saints, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu continued to fly towards the center of the Celestial Devil Mountain range. Along the way, the 3 of them threw exploding flame pearls towards the bottom of the Celestial Devil Mountain range. Boom, boom, boom. The sound of explosions resounded throughout the Celestial Devil Mountain range. Along the way, the demon clan in the Celestial Devil Mountain range was killed or injured by the explosion of the exploding flame bead. The martial sage realm experts of the demon clan formed teams and followed behind Yi Tianzong and the other 2 with hatred. More and more people gathered. Yi Tianzong and the other 2 were flying leisurely in front, maintaining a speed of 100,000 miles per hour, 2 hours. They didn't seem to mind that more and more demon race experts were gathering around them. Yi Tianzong had already told the 2 of them that he still had more than 50 purifying talismans, so they didn't have to worry about being trapped by the demon race. Now, they only needed to make some noise in the Celestial Devil Mountain range. The bigger the noise, the better, to attract the demon race experts. When more and more demon race experts gathered, they would kill them and weaken the demon race's high-level battle strength. The closer they got to the center of the Celestial Devil Mountain range, the more frightened Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu became. The demon race's strength was really too strong. After exterminating the demon envoys for the first time, they flew for another one. 3 million kilometers. Along the way, more and more demon race experts surrounded them. There were already more than 600,000 demon race experts. Since entering the airspace above the Celestial Devil Mountain range, they had only flown for less than 2 million kilometers. They were still tens of millions of kilometers away from the center of the Celestial Devil Mountain range, not even 1/10 of the way there. Along the way, they had encountered more than 1.2 million demon experts of the 5th heavenly layer and above, and countless demon saint experts of the 5th heavenly layer and below. There were simply too many of them. In less than 2 million miles, the Devil Clan had already displayed so many martial saints, not to mention those at the level of Wu Zun and King Wu. It was hard to imagine how incredible the strength of the Devil Clan in the Celestial Devil Mountains had accumulated. Based on the current strength of the humans and demons in the Central Plains, even if they worked together, they would not be able to defeat all the demons in the Celestial Devil Mountain range. The closer Yi Tianzong got to the center of the Celestial Devil Mountain range, the more he rejoiced at his decision to eradicate the demon strongholds in the Central Plains. The demon clan made use of the strongholds in the periphery to fight against the demon-slaying alliance while they were at a slight disadvantage. They had paralyzed all the forces in the Central Plains. In fact, they had unknowingly accumulated a huge amount of strength in their headquarters in the Celestial Devil Mountain range. If it weren't for the fact that he didn't want to prevent the demon envoys from causing trouble when the demon-killing alliance was eradicating the demon clan's strongholds, he wouldn't have come to the Celestial Demon Mountain range and discovered the demon clan's terrifying strength. Perhaps the humans and demons of the Central Plains were still immersed in the beautiful situation of suppressing the demons, unable to extricate themselves. However, the Devil Clan would continue to accumulate strength until the time was ripe. They would launch an all-out attack on the Central Plains and succeed in one fell swoop. It was no wonder that when the people of the Hao Ranjun sect, the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands gathered together every few years to communicate, the master of the Lingyun Hall, the master of the Kunlun sect, and the sacred lords of the 10 Holy Lands all said, intentionally or unintentionally, that the strength of the Devil Clan was too weak. It was too different from the strength of the antiquity times, which was somewhat abnormal. Yi Tianzong used to think that the Lingyun Hall, the Kunlun sect, and the 10 Holy Lands had suffered too many losses from the Devil Clan in the antiquity times, so they were traumatized by the Devil Clan. Now it seemed that he was a little arrogant and conceited. He had been invincible for too long, which made him a little confused. In the antiquity times, the Devil Clan was able to wreak havoc and run amok. They beat the humans and demons of the Central Plains until they couldn't raise their heads. Countless human and demon forces were destroyed by the Devil Clan. In the end, they had to seek help from the sea race in the Boundless Sea to resist the Devil Clan. The superpowers and holy lands that still existed today were all very powerful forces in the past. They only survived after sacrificing a lot of experts and exhausting most of their resources. Thinking about it this way, how could the Abyss Devil Clan, who could suppress the humans and demons in the past, be suppressed by the Devil-Slaying Alliance, which was only 1/5 of the strength of the Central Plains? Obviously, the Devil Clan deliberately used this to paralyze all the forces in the Central Plains. Moreover, Yi Tianzong knew that because the seal of heaven and earth was broken, the Wushang demon lord of the Abyss Devil Clan, who was at least a great emperor-level existence that was suppressed in the depths of the world, had awakened again and was recovering his strength. Since the Wushang demon lord was recovering his strength, the strength of the Abyss Devil Clan would definitely increase by a large margin. Even the extremely powerful devil envoys were increasing in number. This was not good news. They had to curb the soaring strength of the Devil Clan. Otherwise, if the other forces were destroyed, no matter how powerful they were, when faced with the overwhelming number of Devil Clan, no matter how many trump cards they had, they would run out in the end. At that time, they could only sullenly flee. After continuing to fly for hundreds of thousands of li with Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu, Yi Tianzong and the other two stopped. It was not that he had decided to stop, but the surrounding Devil Clan Saint-level experts had already reached 1,000,000. They already had the confidence to face Yi Tianzong and no longer retreated. Looking at the confident looks of the surrounding Devil Clan experts, Yi Tianzong did not waste any time. He took out another purification talisman and directly crushed it. Another 10 li thick purifying halo rapidly expanded. In a short period of time, all the Devil Clan experts within a radius of 10,000 li had completely disappeared. This time, no devil envoys appeared and nothing was left. The violent and evil negative aura that had originally filled the air because of the gathering of the Devil Clan was also completely purified by the purifying light emitted by the purification talisman. After eliminating another wave of Devil Clan Saint-level experts, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu continued to leisurely advance, flying towards the depths of the heavenly Devil Mountain range. Just like before, they once again threw down explosive flame pearls along the way, causing a big commotion and attracting the Devil Clan experts. While Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu were dealing with the Devil Clan in the heavenly Devil Mountain range, the Devil-Slaying Alliance's army was already in full battle array around all the Devil Clan strongholds in the Central Plains, making preparations. Soon, a day had passed. The Devil-Slaying Alliance's army from all over the Central Plains launched the fiercest attacks on the Devil Clan strongholds at the same time. There was no so-called probing. This war to completely eradicate the Devil Clan strongholds had entered a white-hot state from the very beginning. In order to completely destroy all the Devil Clan strongholds, all the superpowers and holy lands in the Central Plains took out their own assets. Flame pearls, all kinds of jade talismans that sealed attacks and killing moves, one-time use forbidden weapons, all kinds of trap and kill formations, formation discs, battle armors, weapons and so on. The Hao Ranjin sect had a total of 13 million official disciples. Out of the 3 million that stayed behind to guard the Tiangang Peak and the territory of the Hao Ranjin sect, 10 million people were sent out to participate in the war. All the disciples below King Wu realm formed small teams of 100 people and formed the Haoran Tiangang sword formation to besiege and kill the low-level devils. Some of the King Wu realm disciples were responsible for throwing the exploding flame pearls at the devil clan's camp without restraint. The other group flew in the sky and arranged the Haoran devil sealing formation according to a special formation. The Haoran Devil Sealing Formation was created by Yi Tianzong and the people of the Formation and Tools Hall by using the Penglai sect's dragon-locking god-trapping formation and some other sealing and trapping formations. Once the Haoran Devil Sealing Formation was successfully deployed, it would gather the Haoran morality between heaven and earth and form a powerful sealing force of extreme yang. As long as the enemy was within the range of the Haoran Devil Sealing Formation, their strength would be greatly reduced. However, the disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect who had comprehended the Haoran morality would not be hindered by the Haoran Devil Sealing Formation and could move freely. The exploding flame pearls were thrown in front of the King Wu realm experts to open a path, while the disciples below King Wu realm formed a sword formation behind them. Under the protection of the Haoran Devil Sealing Formation set up by the King Wu realm experts, the disciples of the Haoran Devil Sealing Formation went on a rampage and crushed everything in their path. Wherever they passed, all the devils were reduced to ashes. As for the Wu Zun realm and Wu Xing realm experts of the Hao Ranjin sect and the Devil Slaying Alliance who wanted to stop them, they would naturally be dealt with by the experts of the Hao Ranjin sect and the Devil Slaying Alliance. Not only the disciples of the Hao Ranjin sect, but the other major forces of the Human Clan and the Demon Clan in the Central Plains basically adopted the same strategy as the Hao Ranjin sect. The experts of the various forces such as Marquis Wu or King Wu realm experts threw the exploding flame pearls as if they were free. Behind them, their own troops formed various formations and killed the devils mercilessly. The devils also had their own battle formations and defensive strategies. They did not show any sign of weakness as they fought the Devil Slaying Alliance's army to the death. Chapter 196. Completely eradicating all of the demon race's strongholds in the Central Plains was destined to be the largest war since the Antiquity Age. At the same time, it was also an important turning point in the war between the human race and the demon race in the Central Plains since the Antiquity Age. If this war was successful, then the human race and the demon race would eliminate all of the demon race's strongholds in the Central Plains, leaving only the celestial Devil Mountain range where the demon race lived. They would completely gain the strategic initiative and break away from the situation where their forces were scattered everywhere. If they were defeated and couldn't even deal with the demon race's strongholds in the periphery, then Yi Tianzong would have to consider whether it was necessary to let the demon-killing alliance continue to exist. In all of the places where the demon-killing alliance and the demon race were fighting, there were countless human race, demon race and demon race dying at every moment. There were no injuries, only death and survival. Every battlefield was filled with blood and cold winds. It was clearly a hot summer, but on the battlefield, it was as cold as winter. In all of the battlefields where the members of the Hao Ranjin sect appeared, because of the Hao Ranjin sect's valiant attacks, the battles against the demon race were progressing smoothly. In the other strongholds of the demon race, because of their superiority in numbers and strength, they also had the upper hand. If there were no accidents, they would definitely win this war to eliminate the demon race's stronghold. While the demon-killing alliance and the demon race's strongholds were fiercely resisting each other, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu were still causing havoc in the celestial Devil Mountain range, attracting the high-level battle forces of the demon race and preventing them from reinforcing the strongholds of the demon race. While the demon-killing alliance and the demon race's strongholds were fighting for a day and a night, Yi Tianzong and the other two had already flown more than 7 million kilometers above the celestial Devil Mountain range and killed 3 waves of demon race experts of the 5th firmament and above. After killing more than 3 million experts of the 6th firmament and above, the demon race in the celestial Devil Mountain range hated Yi Tianzong and the other two to the extreme. When Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu were flying, the demon race didn't send any more saint experts to stop them. Instead, they sent out millions of King Wu and Wu Zun. The number of King Wu and Wu Zun was dozens or even hundreds of times more than the number of martial saints. Since they would die no matter who went up against them, they might as well send out countless demons below the martial saint level as cannon fodder to surround Yi Tianzong and his 2 companions. They had to exhaust all of Yi Tianzong's trump cards. At the same time, the saint-level demon experts formed another encirclement around Yi Tianzong from all directions in order to prevent Yi Tianzong and the other two from escaping. Yi Tianzong and the other two had caused a ruckus in the celestial Devil Mountain range and discovered the demon race's hidden strength, causing them to lose more than 3 million saint-level expert. The demon race couldn't allow Yi Tianzong and the other two to escape. No matter the price, they had to keep Yi Tianzong and the other two in the celestial Devil Mountain range. When Yi Tianzong and the other two saw that the demon race had sent Wu Zun and King Wu to surround them, they understood the demon race's intentions. However, this time, Yi Tianzong didn't immediately use the divine purification talisman to eliminate the demon race. Instead, he, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu each used what they had learned and picked up the demon race to practice their martial skills. In the eyes of Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu, who had reached the peak of the 9th heaven of Wu Xing, these demons of Wu Zun and King Wu's level were no different from ants. With a wave of their hands, they could kill dozens or even hundreds of them. Moreover, there was almost an endless number of them, which was perfect for practicing martial skills. Yi Tianzong had a large number of pills on him. When he couldn't hold on any longer, he would crush the divine purification talisman. Then, the 3 of them would take the opportunity to recover their magic power and fight again. Even if they were in a desperate situation, they still had the immortal mansion. At worst, they could bring Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu to hide in the immortal mansion. No matter how hard the demon race searched, they wouldn't be able to find them. The immortal mansion was a super treasure of the myriad worlds. As long as Yi Tianzong deliberately concealed it, even if Shen Yu had the vision of a supreme celestial lord, she would only think that Yi Tianzong had a cultivation paradise. The so-called cultivation grotto heaven was actually a small world that could accommodate a cultivator and had complete laws and operating functions. The cultivation grotto heaven could absorb energy from the outside world for the cultivator in the grotto heaven to use. The highest level cultivation paradise was comparable to the vast thousand world. It was a treasure that all cultivators wanted to obtain. Because of the existence of the immortal mansion, Yi Tianzong and Ling Xinyue were not worried at all. When Shen Yu saw Yi Tianzong and Ling Xinyue so calm, she naturally knew that they had something up their sleeve. She was also not worried that Yi Tianzong would trick her. She also calmly used the demon race to practice the martial skills and sword techniques of the Divine Moon Heaven Sutra that she had created. Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu faced the countless Wu Zun and Wu King level demons that were swarming towards them. They wantonly used the Fa Li in their bodies. Every move and style would destroy at least hundreds of demons. When the demon race saint-level experts at the outermost layer used their primordial spirits to observe that Yi Tianzong and the others did not follow the rules and actually used the demon race as a training ground, they were so angry that they almost exploded. They made up their minds to fight Yi Tianzong and the others and ordered all the Wu Zun and Wu King level demons to attack Yi Tianzong and the others with all their might. Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu faced the endless demon race and suddenly felt an enormous pressure. Although they were wearing battle armor, the attacks of the demon race had no effect on them. As long as they did not self-destruct on a large scale, they would be safe. However, if they were to come into close contact with the demon race, the three of them would still feel disgusted. Therefore, they had no choice but to increase the output of their unveil. The power of every move and style became stronger and stronger, and at the same time, more demons were destroyed by them. Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue, and Shen Yu followed the three-talent formation and fought for 6 hours. After 6 hours of high-intensity output, Ling Xinyue, who was the weakest, had already used up 90% of her unveil. Shen Yu, who was next, had used up 60% of her unveil. Yi Tianzong had also used up more than 50% of his unveil. Noticing the pale face of Ling Xinyue, Yi Tianzong approached Ling Xinyue and pressed down on her shoulder. He took Ling Xinyue into the immortal mansion and let her recover her exhausted unveil. After Shen Yu saw that Ling Xinyue had disappeared, she was surprised. However, she did not have time to think about it and focused on dealing with the demon race that blotted out the sky. Because of the disappearance of Ling Xinyue, the pressure on Yi Tianzong and Shen Yu was even greater. They had no choice but to stay close to each other and destroy the attacking demon race with their backs facing each other. The attacks of the demon race seemed to be endless. Yi Tianzong and Shen Yu continued to fight for more than 2 hours. Shen Yu had already used up more than 90% of her unveil, and Yi Tianzong only had less than 20% of his strength left. The number of demon race that had died under their hands was already innumerable. More than 2 hours had passed in the outside world, but more than 8 hours had passed in the vast expanse immortal abode. With the help of medicinal pills and the rich heaven and earth essence energy in the vast expanse immortal abode, Ling Xinyue had already recovered to her peak condition. Sensing that Ling Xinyue had already recovered to her peak state, and that most of his and Shen Yu's strength had already been consumed, Yi Tianzong directly crushed a purification talisman. Then, with a thought, Ling Xinyue appeared beside Yi Tianzong. Another purification halo appeared, and all the demon race within 10,000 miles were completely wiped out by the purification divine light. After handing a purification talisman to Ling Xinyue, Yi Tianzong said to her, "They don't dare to come over for the time being. Shen Yu and I will recover for a while. You protect us. If the demon race attacks, crush the purification talisman." After speaking, Yi Tianzong said to the panting Shen Yu, "Let's recover for a while. This is for you." After speaking, Yi Tianzong threw a storage pouch to Shen Yu, and then consumed some pills to recover. Shen Yu opened the storage pouch, and saw that there were over 100 jade bottles filled with pills. A trace of joy flashed through her heart, and she took out one of the jade bottles, poured out a pill, and swallowed it. Then, she stood in the air and recovered. On the other side, just as Yi Tianzong had expected, when all the demon race within 10,000 miles were instantly wiped out, the demon race that were still 10,000 miles away immediately used all their strength to hide far away. Only after the purification halo had completely disappeared did they dare to continue approaching Yi Tianzong and the others. But when they saw Ling Xinyue standing guard in front of Yi Tianzong and raising the purification talisman in her hand, all the demon race once again retreated 10,000 miles away. The purification talisman's power was simply too strong. The purification divine light that could purify all negative energy was even more effective than Howren's righteous qi. They were simply unable to resist it. All the demon race that had seen its power did not dare to act rashly. But such a stalemate was also not a solution. With the eyesight of the demon race experts, they could naturally see that Yi Tianzong was recovering his strength. In this way, they guessed that Yi Tianzong did not have many powerful killing weapons in his hands like just now. Otherwise, why would he waste his strength to personally go into battle? This was a very good opportunity. As long as they used up all his trump cards and did not give him time to recover, then Yi Tianzong, who had not recovered his strength, would definitely not be able to escape from their inescapable net. The demon race experts who thought that they had guessed correctly immediately ordered those Wu Zun and Wu King level demon race experts to once again attack Yi Tianzong and the others. Although those Wu Zun and Wu King level demon race experts were unwilling, they could only brace themselves and once again attack Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu. When they saw that the demon race experts had once again swarmed forward and were less than 100 feet away, Ling Xinyue decisively crushed the purification talisman in her hand. Another purification divine halo rose up, and the demon race experts within 10,000 miles once again disappeared completely. Until the purification divine halo completely disappeared, the demon race experts 10,000 miles away were still hesitating whether to continue attacking Yi Tianzong and the others. But the demon race experts who were certain that Yi Tianzong did not have many trump cards, once again ordered those Wu Zun and Wu King level demon race experts to launch an attack on Yi Tianzong and the others. Those Wu Zun and Wu King level demon race experts were slowly and tentatively approaching Yi Tianzong and the others. When they saw that only Ling Xinyue and the others were in a fighting posture among the three of them, those demon race experts who were besieging them immediately put down most of their fear and directly attacked with a surging momentum. But just as they were 100 miles away, Yi Tianzong opened his closed eyes. Looking at the aggressive demon race experts, he once again took out a purification talisman. Under the fearful gazes of those demon race experts, he revealed a merciless smile and said softly, "Goodbye." Then another wave of demon race experts was mercilessly wiped out. After more than an hour, Yi Tianzong's Fa Li had already recovered by 70%, and Shen Yu had also recovered by about 70%. Even if they were to engage in another battle with the demon race, it would not matter. Looking at the demon race experts who had stopped advancing in the distance, Yi Tianzong, Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu naturally would not take the initiative to attack. The more time passed, the more strength Yi Tianzong and Shen Yu would be able to recover, and it would be more advantageous for them. A quarter of an hour passed, half an hour passed, and seeing that the demon race experts in the distance did not launch an attack, Yi Tianzong said to Ling Xinyue and Shen Yu, "Since they don't dare to come over, then let's continue forward. At the same time, we will continue to recover our Fa Li. In any case, our mission and goal is to cause a commotion in the demonic mountain range and delay the high-level forces of the demon race, especially those demon envoys. There are definitely still demon envoys in the demonic mountain range, and we cannot allow them to reinforce the strongholds of the demon race.